What's up, everybody? Paul here from the Hoops Crew, and it's post-game live time. Not with Benny, with me. I'm here taking over while Ben is out tonight, and of course, the Cats didn't actually have a game, so we're having a shorter, sharper one here to debrief on all things semi-final week. The sentiment is already popping up that we've got Morty popping in saying, "Go Cats and go away, yellow and blue, yellow and poo Browns." F the Hawks, roaming stoked that I'm here. For anyone who missed the memo, we spoke about it on the Paul James show the other night. This stream was initially planned to go live immediately after the Adelaide and Hawthorn game yesterday. Due to some scheduling issues that I had, but also the fact that we could then cover both games, we're covering them both tonight. So looking forward to chatting to all of you who pop in over the course of tonight. Both semi-finals are now done. A bit of a reminder for people, or if you've missed the latest on the Brisbane and Gold Coast game, our two matches this weekend, Hawthorn went over to Adelaide, got the job done to the tune of 34 points, and the Suns have just gone down to the Lions by 53. So that sets up our prelim finals for next week, Collingwood and Brisbane, Geelong and Hawthorn. Not in that order, actually, though. I should have probably gotten that right. Friday night will be the Cats and the Hawks. It actually kind of makes me sick, just the prospect of having to play them in a knockout final once again. And then on the Saturday twilight, I think it's like a 5:15 start, you've then got Collingwood and Brisbane. Both games at the MCG, with Collingwood and Geelong being the home teams, quote-unquote home teams for that one. So looking forward to chatting to you over the course of the night. I'll make sure to drop the link in. Let me grab that now. There we are. I'll just drop that into the chat for anyone who wants to get involved. But we do have, not Ben Reeve, a far better Ben, here on the sidelines, ready to jump in. So I'll just drop that link, and then we'll grab Ben in to start discussing the games for the night. How's things, mate?
Yeah, good. I had a family friend's 18th tonight, so I haven't been too sort of focused on the footy.
Sorry, mate. We nearly missed the show full stop because I nearly drifted off on the couch. I woke up 5 minutes before it was go time. I'm like, oh shit! All right, better get in there. So
yeah, I've been there before, but it just looks like the Lions dominated them pretty much. I reckon most people tipped the Suns, to be honest, to win.
Yeah, I did.
I certainly preferred if they win, but obviously they didn't. I think Brisbane become the first team in about 5 years to win the premiership the year before and make a prelim the next year. So yeah, they've been able to sustain success, something other reigning premiers haven't done in recent years.
Yeah, there's been a pretty negative trend there for us and for Collingwood in prior years. So Brisbane are bucking that one. At least, I mean, obviously the first week of finals didn't go so well for them. Pretty well for us, but not so well for them. But they've rebounded nicely. How that shapes them up, and a bit like you, I haven't seen a huge amount of the game from tonight. I saw the first quarter and a half or thereabouts, and to Gold Coast credit, that first quarter and a half, it was relatively competitive. And then
they'll probably end the game.
And Cam Rayner in particular, so we boo the shit out of him. Really started to steamroll them. So, and they didn't really put up much of a fight from there. In fact, since quarter time, the Suns kicked 3 goals, 7 to Brisbane's 11 goals, 11. So,
yeah,
pretty ugly reading for the Suns. But yeah, that's and look, I'm sure for yourself and probably everyone who jumps in tonight, I'm sure the main focus will, of course, probably be on the other game and obviously our ultimate opponent next week. We can see Harry Eastwood in here, who I presume is a Hawks fan, chirping away in the background there. But of course, that is the game that we are certainly most interested in. But we'll try and dabble and engage in some conversation around this one as well. But we've already spoken a little bit about this one. Let's cast an eye to Adelaide and Hawthorn and what some of your takeaways were from that one, given that we do have to now take on the Hawks this coming Friday night. What are you thinking?
It's very nerve-wracking up against the Hawks. It's like, because it's either going to be the best night of the year or the worst. There's no in between. There really isn't.
Ben Reeve put up a poll on the Hoops Crew Twitter account earlier today asking people what they would rather. Admittedly, he didn't engage in the win scenario, and I guess that's simply because, of course, that's the best case scenario for us. But what would you rather, lose to the Hawks in a prelim final or lose to the Magpies in a grand final? And the majority actually chose losing to the Magpies in a grand final.
I'd probably take that, to be honest. Like, at least if you lose a grand, you were there or something. You can say you were there, or I don't know, and depends on how you lose the game as well. But yeah, I'd probably take that one. Losing to Collingwood in a granny, over losing to the Hawks in a prelim.
Yeah, look, not great either way, but but yeah, I would also rather lose to the Pies in a grand final than to the Hawks in a prelim. Yep, just the idea, yeah. And now the weird thing for me, and I don't know about for you, and I think I can't remember if I expressed this on the Paul James show the other night. When I was trying to toss and turn and work out who I did or didn't want to win, set the tipping aside and who I thought was going to win, but who I did and didn't want to win, I felt like, and obviously the Crows never really rediscovered their form through this final series, but I felt like the ceiling on the Crows was higher than the Hawks, and so I was more worried about having to deal with Adelaide than Hawthorn. Now their tails are up a little bit. They've got, I don't know, I'm sure you, like many others, have seen the footage of Luke Bruce and his knee today, so there's a little bit of a sentimental thing there for them. Now, obviously, he probably wasn't going to get a game in the seniors, but there's a little bit of an extra, romantic element to their story now. I'm more and more worried. I think it was mostly PTSD that was driving me towards wanting to play Adelaide, as opposed to Hawthorn. But that's the outcome we've got. So I'll bring my bath bag when I go to the G on Friday night.
On the Hawks, I know they're eighth, but they're probably not like an 8th place team.
No, like, if they beat Brisbane in that last game, they actually could have finished as high as 3rd.
They would have played us in the first final if they had won that game. So it's now in the prelim instead. But with the Hawks, I think I'm looking forward to the midfield matchup. That's where I'm most excited about. See if O'Sheen can work his magic on Jai Newcomb. I think as well.
So I'm going to ask. I was planning on asking that question all night. Do you think O'Sheen's the right man for Newcomb?
I think so. Yeah. And then I can't really think of any other. I think he's their only sort of like who would be like their second best mid outside of Newcomb.
I mean, Will Day if he's actually fit, but no. Yeah. I mean, you're probably instantly talking about the Warples and Josh Wards and those sorts of guys. This is why they're chasing some of the players that they are, because their midfield is absolutely their weakest link, and Newcomb's carrying a lot of the load. But if he gets taken out of the game in any sort of capacity, or even just blunted a little bit, they are significantly weakened through that part of the ground. So,
yeah, definitely. I think the role is more suited for Mullen than O'Connor. I think, particularly if we only have to tag one midfielder. I don't think we'll go with 2.
What about the fact that, and again, and I can see Kiri in the background, we'll get him in shortly as well, and I'll kind of ask the same question, so I can see you listening in, mate. Feel free to stew on this and come out with some answers when it's your turn. But what about the fact that, obviously O'Sheen, when he's been playing these tagging roles over the course of the year, it's been Dacos, it's been Butters. I mean, I guess Butters kind of can get in and under as well. But for the most part, we're talking about the less competitive animals. Sorry, not competitive, like contested animals, I should say. Newcomb is very much that contested beast. And, is that necessarily the right matchup? Or is it worth, and, this is kind of where my head's been going, is it worth actually just putting Atkins on him? Atkins is more than capable of playing that defensive midfielder role. We've obviously proves it with his tackle numbers, and he's done these sorts of roles in the past, and they can just go head to head, but not head to head in like a Nat Fyfe v Paddy Dangerfield kind of way, but just purely like
pressure.
It's just pressure all day, every day. Impact his disposal, impact the numbers that he gets. Just bury him.
I'd still say that like those players that Mullen has tagged, like your Dacos and Butters, are your like contested, like inside sort of players. And Jai Newcomb is, of course, that as well. But no, that's a good shout about Atkins, just with the pressure that he can apply with the tackles. And is Newcomb more of a handballer or kicker, you reckon?
Better on the handball, I would say.
Handball, okay, yeah.
Jackie's just flagged that he went okay on Jason Horne-Francis, who is a bit more that kind of in and under, bury the head over the ball sort of player. Does also get pretty explosive on the outside too, but that is a good argument to kind of throw back at me. But my gut feeling this one is that maybe it's Atkins. Like everyone's going to be talking about Mullen and O'Connor throughout the course of the week, and I'm sure they'll have jobs. I'm sure O'Connor will play some sort of defensive stopping role maybe just like he had to do with Rayner, maybe he's going to a Nick Watson or a Jack Ginnivan or someone like that having to do the role. But I'm curious to whether the right matchup actually is Mullen or whether it's actually someone like an Atkins. But anyway, I'm sure I'll continue to hear from the chat and Kiri and others who come in over the course of the night too. So.
And then another important matchup, Jack Gunston. Now, the thing is with that, I think I'm not sure who they'd play on him. The thing is about playing while Connor O'Sullivan, I think, is really good. The thing about just playing him though is while he might have good moments against him, these opponents still has good moments back. Like I remember when he played on Harry Mackay. And like O'Sullivan still had like a pretty decent game, like on him, like just spoiling and like contested marks on him. But like Mackay still had like 20 touches and kicked 3 and had like 5 contested marks himself. So like you can have good moments, but then again, you're still not really stopping your opponent. So I'm not sure whether he's the right matchup for him. Sam DeConing.
Well, thinking through their forward options. So you've got, assuming they kind of roll the same team out there, and there's been some little rumblings about some sore hamstrings from a few players who aren't key position players, but actually was Gunston one of them? I saw Ginnivan's name.
Ginnivan was one of them. I don't think Gunston.
Who was the other player? Was it Gunston?
Culture Deal didn't play last night with the hamstring.
Yeah, no, he's out with the hamstring.
So he'll be out. Okay, yeah. So. Mitch Will. No, I think that was just a tactic. He got subbed out again. I think that was just tactical.
Someone in the chat remind me there was 2 players. Ginnivan was one. I'm fairly sure Gunston was the other, but I can't remember who it was. But anyway, for the sake of this, let's assume that they play. Well, there you go. Jackie's confirmed it was Gunston and Ginnivan. Yeah. But in my mind, when I think about our, I guess, key defensive players and who would go to who, I'd be thinking that you've got your like Scholl and Mitch Lewis are your big 2, and that's where your Sam DeConing's hang on, I'm just going blank in my head now I'm just going blank with their players. Sam DeConing's going to take one of those 2. And then I'm trying to work out whether Jack Henry is actually, like, whether you'd put O'Sullivan, for example, on say a Mitch Lewis, and then maybe a Jack Henry on a Jack Gunston.
I think Jack Henry's our best defender. Well, actually, our best sort of one-on-one defender, I'd say. And
so maybe DeConing on Lewis, O'Sullivan on Chol. I know he's obviously potentially going to be outgunned muscle-wise, but Chol's, I would say, the most up and down, and he can have his moments for sure.
O'Sullivan still has the physical ability, I reckon. Competing with like Chol, yeah.
And then that way you can leave Jack Henry, your best defender, or your best kind of key defender. I don't know why I did that one, but because I didn't want to bundle Tom Stewart in that. I think Tom Stewart's still our best defender. But your best kind of key defender there to deal with Gunston.
And then another sort of matchup as well. I think Jeremy Cameron on Josh Battle in the forward line. Now Cameron's been the only sort of player this year that got him. Probably the best player on Josh Battle, which then again, it was when we played on Easter Monday, he had about 14 touches and 2 goals on Battle, which has been better than what other players have done. So I think that's another important matchup. And then in the ruck, Mark Buxarves and Lloyd Meek. Now Lloyd Meek will obviously have the advantage in terms of like hit outs
The height
and stuff.
the height and size.
But Buxarves does have the versatility better than Meek, and Meek can actually like have versatility in terms of like going up forward and making an impact.
So my thinking there, I guess, continuing our conversation about the defensive thing, is that like Meek absolutely could be a bit of a problem if he floats forward. He's got that height and the strength, and so that's where I wonder if maybe in those scenarios when he starts to drift, and Blitzarves will go with him and do what he needs to do because he's supreme talent and he's very disciplined. But well, not so much of a talent in front of the sticks, but I'm wondering if so at that particular point in time, Blitzarves does or doesn't float into the back line. But maybe Tom Stewart then flicks onto a Gunston or someone like that, or your pieces start to shuffle around a little bit in that particular scenario, and Sam De Koning as a result is released to be able to deal with Meek in those scenarios, just for that height.
Yeah, I think we obviously Stanley's going to be big out with that sort of like pressure on Meek, but I think that's what we need to do. If Lloyd Meek just starts drifting forward because we've got no one to compete height with him. You just got to switch around a bit, and De Koning will just have to compete with him. If he does go up forward, it's not going to be like a lead kick to Lloyd Meek. It's going to be like a contested pack where the ball would be kicked to. So you just got to be ready in those moments to spoil or intercept.
Which does make it easier for there to be kind of that swap in the process for a Dakota to kind of, because you're right, he's not going to be leading up, he's going to be floating back, or he's going to be standing there kind of wrestling with someone and trying to outpoint them. Were there any, before I kind of throw some other little potential conversation starters at you for around this one, were there any other players or parts of the ground that you really wanted to hone in on?
I think we kind of covered it all, really. I think we're good. I think our midfield on paper is a bit better. We could have a talk about that, what we think the changes of the team will be, but
I don't think there will be any, to be honest.
I don't think there will be.
Maybe Jai Clark comes out for someone, but I mean, it's not like he did anything wrong the other night. But he also only got 3 minutes of game time, and he should have had a goal assist. But I do still feel like there are better. I've put out that video. Everyone's seen that video now. It's been checked out by at least 1,000 people. But where I'm very big on what he could be for us, but I still don't know if he's our right pick for this current finals campaign. I still wonder if this is the time for, well, firstly, as I pinned Roaming's comment before, Jed Buse to deal with, say, a Ginnivan or a Wizard, but also, whether this is, and it would be a risk because he's not been in great form this year, but is this the time for Ollie Henry? I know Lucas somewhere. Lucas probably just pitched a tent somewhere off the back of me making that comment. But
he was looking at the TV screen. He's got this audio, and then just heard that and just turned around and in shock.
It's a disturbance in the force.
No, but I don't think so. I just don't.
That's fair. There's merit in it. Yeah, no,
you never know.
Don't really blame anyone who kind of goes down that path either. So
never know. I think another player who's not necessarily been out of form, but just sometimes I think we need a big game out of Jack Martin, he's got the ability. Sometimes he's not. In the last few games hasn't been great with the ball, I think, but I think we really need a big game out of Jack Martin. He's definitely got the potential to light it up.
I think he just kind of, he's that sort of player that can just float in and out of the game. Yeah. And not necessarily because he's poor, but I think just the nature of his game, it's a high dynamic sort of role. And so there's points where he'll just, with that match sense, that game sense, he'll emerge right where he's required as either as a defender, kind of running the ball out, or hopefully up forward and he kicks a bag of 4 goals in as many minutes sort of thing. He's got that sort of game sense that means that we don't I mean, if he plays a good 4-quarter game, fantastic. But if not, I'm more than content. So, provided he contributes a little bit, of course.
Just another player as well. I know if this player has a bad game and we lose, Lucas will be right into him. Shannon Neal. Right. But no, Shannon. It wasn't quite his game. In the first final, I guess. Maybe because we won.
I keep, and I didn't actually get a direct chance to chat to Lucas about that, but I push back on the idea that he put in a bad game. He nullified Harris Andrews to an extent. He's Harris Andrews is the best key defender in the competition. Kicked 1 goal, 1 on him, which sure not amazing numbers, but you'll take a goal or 2 in a final. Like, look around the competition. Most players were actually in that first week. I don't think any key position forward kicked more than 2 goals on the weekend. On that particular weekend, Jeremy Cameron was the best with 2 goals, 3. He kicked 1-1. Harris Andrews obviously, had some really important, moments. He took some great marks defensively for them, but I think there was also a lot of others where he was kind of excluded from the contest because of the way that Shannon Neal moved. He got him out of position, allowing Cameron to get his hands on the ball, or someone else to get their hands on the ball. I think there was a few things that will go without data that suggest he played a much better game than what some might some being Lucas. But that said, he does have an opportunity here. Like, for as much as Battle and Barras are excellent defenders, they're not Harris Andrews. I'd love to see him, kick 2 minimum. I'd like, as a starting point, I'd like to see him get 2 on the board, and if Jezza can kick 2 or 3 minimum again, hopefully, then I think we're a long way down the road, because you're going to get your smalls involved. You're going to get your midfielders kicking 1 or 2 along the way. I mean, last week was such a weird one because so much of the damage was actually done by kind of mids and defenders in the end. We had our 13 goal kickers, but your Sam de Koning floated in. You've got Tom Stewart that kicked a goal. It was a lot of the less, Mark Blitzar's kick 1 from the ruck. It was some of your less conventional names that were getting on the scoreboard for the Cats last week. And obviously if that continues, that's going to be really important as well. But I don't know if this whole thing makes me anxious, to be honest. This whole matchup just makes me really anxious.
Yeah, just want Friday to be tomorrow, pretty much.
Yeah, just let's get it done. Now, as far as I'm concerned, like I've got a bunch of obnoxious Hawthorn supporters at work. Thankfully, Friday is the last day of the school term for me, so I'll walk out the door, go to the prelim. Hopefully, we win. But if we lose, I won't have to deal with any backlash for a couple of weeks. And hopefully, in the meantime, they go and lose the grand final, just so that I don't cop from them. But or we go and win one, and I am the most obnoxious prick in the world when I get back to work. But which some would argue I kind of already am at work. But anyway, football aside, I feel like we've got the right pieces to the puzzle here to be able to win this game. And I definitely think on paper we are the stronger team, or the better team. Now, obviously, what happens on the day is what matters the most, and we only have to. It's not the Paul James show, so I'm happy to just acknowledge and talk about it here, because it's the number one rule of the Paul James show is we don't talk about the 2008 grand final. But 2008 was obviously, we were clearly the better team on paper, and we just cocked it up on the day, couldn't kick straight, and also let's not lose sight of the fact that Hawthorn cheated. The AFL changed the rule afterwards about the rush behind. Cheating's a bit much. They were just liberal with the rules.
Yes.
In case any Hawthorn supporters out there looking for dirt to throw shit around.
Just like a few, it's a bit like in the AFL at the moment. Like, you're not allowed to throw, but we do let you throw.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Well, it's just so hard. In some cases, it's just so hard to be able to definitively say, "Yep, that was a throw." So,
it's like at nightclubs as well. No, we don't. No, you're not allowed to smoke, but we do let you smoke. Pretty much that sort of thing.
Among a million other things that are going on in those joints.
Yeah. But I don't know. We've just got to. I remember we've just got to. We've got to somehow get more supporters there for and the crowd on. In recent years, when we've played home finals at the G against Richmond and Collingwood, have been
drowned out,
severely outnumbered fan wise. Like, it's been shocking.
And look, because Hawthorn are successful, their fair weather supporters are going to come out en masse. So, So yeah, we're going to need to, and if any of you are on the fence right now about getting to that game, please make sure to, don the blue and white and get over to the ground and be the support. We are going to need as many numbers as we can just to.
Like the Brisbane game 2 weeks ago, that was the best Geelong crowd I've been a part of. Like, it was just, we were wowed. We were just wowed. Brought in the atmosphere. It was great. Like, that was the best Geelong crowd I've ever been a part of.
I'm pretty sure there's still a few people booing Cam Rayner tonight. Just
well, it probably is because
he did kick a pretty epic goal tonight from the middle of the ground, but the umpire didn't have to give him a freebie there.
Well, the Gold Coast player Collins, I think, just got pushed in the back by Paley to let it go through, but it doesn't get paid anymore.
Yeah, but, it's such a weird thing. We don't, blocks and those sort of things apply everywhere else in the ground, but for some reason, not in that instance, in that particular context.
It was 200 meters away from the ball, but there's definitely a free kick there. But just bring the atmosphere. We're gonna need it.
Yeah, 100%. As loud as possible, and look, hopefully, and I think that the thing that I'm sure everyone's probably noticed about the Hawthorn game so far this final series, they've come out the blocks really, really hard and fast. So, again, a little bit, building that atmosphere as Cats fans, make sure that that the boys have the support because they're going to want to be on their game from the moment they step foot out there as well. Because if they're not, and we get jumped, it could be a bit of a problem.
Oh yeah, they have. They've got off to really fast starts. Their last 2 finals, I think they kicked the first 4 in both.
What happened tonight? Let me double check that. 1, 2, 3. They kicked the first 3, and then I think it was something like the first 4 in the game against the Giants. So. Finals week 1. I've got my filter set to the Cats. Whoops. Clear that. But they've also proven through that, actually it took a while for the first goal to finally be kicked, but then they did kick the first 4 from there, and 7 of the first 10 in the Giants game. So Ben says he prefers the other host. So do I. Come and host your show, dickhead. Roaming's getting nice and loud already. If only those words could be screamed out across the MCG. Make sure you're there doing it, mate. Rob says, no one associated with Hawthorn, past or present, respects Geelong. A win here would mean as much as a premiership itself. It would slay so many demons. Yeah, look, obviously when we've had this kind of conversation on Paul James shows and post-game lives and those sorts of things in the past that obviously we had a pretty good run with the Kennett curse and all those sort of things. But what ultimately for me means that I don't, look back overly fondly on that whole chapter was the fact that it was bookended by a grand final loss and a prelim final loss. Yeah, we won lots of games in the middle, and one of those was also a qualifying final. It wasn't a knockout. When it counted most, when it counted most, Jeff Kennett was actually right. So, which I hate to say, but
yeah, can 3W or something just get Jeff Kennett on one of their programs to speak to voice his opinion on this game?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
We really need that.
That'd be really nice. Just some sort of little obnoxious thing just to shit stir a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Ben, while I've got you, we've got JFR. He's in the comments here. He says, as a Pies fan, I'm interested to hear your opinion on them and how you would feel about the matchup between our two teams. Of course, on the assumption that both teams win the prelim this week. Talk to me about, I know we're casting an eye a little too far forward. I feel like JFR, you as a Collingwood supporter and us as Geelong fans are maybe counting our chickens if we indulge this too much. But with all of that preface out of the way so that we're not, I don't know, the footy gods aren't cursing us for having this conversation. What do you think?
The Pies. I think
if that ends up being the matchup.
So this is the matchup with the Pies. So we have the midfield is pretty even. Sort of like good players everywhere. And then the forward line, I think the forward line is a bit better than Collingwood's back line, can match up better. If we're up against a Darcy Moore, Darcy Moore had a really good game the other week. He's still with just him. You never know what he could do. Oh no!
Jesus says not looking forward that far, and I do agree. So that's why I've made sure to get that little disclosure out of the way first, just to cover our asses a little bit. But then Jackie's comment, that's when we bring back Ollie Henry. That is the perfect game to bring back Ollie Henry. He would love the theatre.
Now we've probably just cursed everything. The footy gods are not happy with us right now.
They're just taking it all out on the Cats this week with angry Scotty and angry Baz, and get it all out.
Just on that, that was just what obviously happened with Bailey Smith was obviously wrong, and he should have just sit there and just shut up and just leave it alone. But then again, I thought it was a bit of a beat up on how it was reported, with people saying that it should have been suspended and stuff, and that was just something for the media to just snap with, to get on Geelong's back. Something that they've been looking to do for a while.
Yeah. Jezza says Pies v Hawks is literally my worst nightmare. And yeah, look, if we end up losing, if that's what eventuates, that's a sickening prospect.
It's I
don't even know if I'll watch it.
It's like choosing ISIS or the Taliban to.
Oh my god. Shit.
Support.
I don't know if I could watch that one between the teams that are playing, and then the fact that the pre-game entertainment is Snoop Dogg, who'd fucking bore me to tears. I think that's a pretty skippable grand final, that one, which works okay because it's my daughter's birthday that day, and I will be able to very easily win some brownie points for going, no, that's all right, babe, don't worry. I'm not going to watch the grand final. Thank fuck, I don't have to watch that grand final.
Don't need to.
Yeah, Ben says, here we go. Does the booing happen? Does the booing happen? Conor Nash better watch his back on Friday night. Does the booing go on?
I forgot about that. That's a good call. I don't think it will, to be honest. He didn't get booed after the incident happened. Or maybe he didn't touch the ball, but
to be fair, it was, and I don't know. Were you there on the day?
Yeah.
Did you get a good look at it at the time?
I don't remember.
In the moment, I looked at it that looked like a footy act that just went wrong. And then, of course, when you see it on the TV, no, there's a bit more to this. But they didn't really show the replay at the time because of the nature of the contact and those sort of things. So a lot of us, I think, both Geelong and Hawthorn supporters on the day were probably flying a little bit blind unless you were kind of looking on your phone at some sort of footage there or social media to kind of get the sentiment.
I think. And
given the stakes of the game, I don't think many people were taking their eyes off the game to even look at their phones either. So
I don't think so. I don't think they'll. They won't do just first bounce, just run straight into Conor Nash or something, and just like the 89 granny or something, or
Oh, jeez, they were talking about more. Sorry, I just got distracted. My sister's just had a baby.
Right now.
I just got a text from my mum, so just let me know. So
that's great. Congrats.
Horatio says, "Can I get a link?" Maybe I'm not sure what we're referring to now. That was before. Okay, we're referring to Discord. Ben's then delivered the goods there. So there's your Discord link. And if anyone, sorry, Horatio, for anyone else who wants to join in. Oh, that's not the link I want. I've copied something since. Here is the link to join the stream tonight. And yes, thank you, Jackie. I already am an uncle, but I'm an uncle again.
Is that your sister's first child, or?
Yeah, I've got two sisters. One, the elder of the two. I am the oldest, but the elder of the two had her first last year, and now the younger of the two's just had her first. So
okay, yeah.
I'm a bit worried. The one that's I was going to say the one that's already here, but now they're both here. The elder of the two nephews, actually they're both boys. His dad's an Essendon supporter. My sister's not that much of a committed Geelong supporter. So I don't know. I feel like there might be some sort of infiltration in the household, and I had to pull my wife off the cliff to take her away from the Essendon Football Club when we first met. So there is still an Essendon scarf somewhere in the house. Fair, I'll leave that for sentimental value for her, but she's well and truly jumped across.
That was more of a saving than a change, but
well, it was a nice timely thing. We met just at the same time that the supplement saga really kicked off. So she was like, "Oh, fucking cheats," and I said, "Well, we don't cheat, and we win premierships. We've won a final sometime in the last, I guess at the time it would have been, last 12 years. You want to come over?"
Well, it depends who you talk to on answering that question.
Well, yeah, some try to suggest that Dank got away with some stuff before he left. I call bullshit on that, and that's why the club opened their books up really quickly. But no, for me, in the end, it became a pretty easy deal to kind of sway my wife over, or girlfriend at the time. She said, "Look, I'm fine. It's not going to take much. Get me a few signatures." And so I just reached out to my granddad, who, for anyone who's not aware, my granddad played for the Cats. I said, "Hey, I need you to use your past players' privileges here to snaffle a few signatures for me." And so I got something in the mail about a week later that had it was Mitch Duncan, Cam Guthrie, and Josh Caddy were the three on the thing that came back. And she goes, "All right, deal sealed." I have no idea where that thing is. It's probably hit the bin and in the fire. It doesn't matter now because she wears a Geelong scarf when we go to the football. So deal done. But anyway, long-winded story.
I found the other day a ball. When I was 13, a ball that a footy that one of my mates gave me, which was signed by Gary Ablett Jr. Yeah,
Jeez, that's right.
So I found that the other day. So that was a good memory and stuff.
Jackie says Josh Caddy burn it. It probably has been burnt now, to be fair. Or it'll turn up. But either way, she wears the blue and white hoops now, and it's Mitch Duncan and Cam Guthrie that really did the work. So
yeah, imagine that imagine a Mitch Duncan Cam Guthrie return this Friday night. Be the most random selection of all time.
The David Swallow sentimental pick. Look, when I've needed the club, they've bailed me out. They brought my wife on board with a few signatures. They salvaged my son's love of footy after that little prick of an Essendon supporter stole the ball out of his hands after I took him to his first game, and then Brian helped me out to get the ball. So they're legends. We already know this, but they're legends over there. Anything else you want to talk about from this particular upcoming game, though, or the ones that have played out tonight? Any observations at all? This weekend, I should say, not just tonight.
We've got to, on Friday night, kick the first goal. Just because of...
Yeah, get the first.
Yep. Kick the first goal, because if they kick the first goal, the Raw is just going to be unimaginable. We're not going to be able to compete with that. So you just kick the first goal, and just as many goals as you kick that goes on before they kick a goal, the Raw, their excitement will go down every time. So I think that's a really good message.
Yeah, no, I think if we just hit the ground running and really kind of try and take the initial burst of excitement from the Hawthorn crowd out of it as quickly as possible, that'll be, I think, really important to this one. And then other than that, I mean, what I said before, I feel like on paper we are the stronger team. So if we can get our tails up early, I think that's going to be really important. And of course, I think I say all of that, and yet setting aside the fact that this is a final, at the end of the day, it's still a Geelong and Hawthorn matchup, and we see our Easter Mondays time and time again and how these matchups go. So even if we get up by 30 points in the first quarter, I'm still going to be shitting bricks until the final siren goes. So and there'll be a kink in the tail at some point, I'm sure, and we'll all have our hearts in our mouths, and we just hope that they can get the job done. So
I want the players to embrace the rivalry as well. Just around each other, be like, we're playing fucking Hawthorn. Hawthorn. They won the most. Embrace like the history as well. Like they've won the most flags in the last 60 years. Who wants to see another one? Like,
yeah, I can't believe I'd be cheering for Collingwood if that happens. If they get past us, or Brisbane. Brisbane I can deal with, but anyway, I think I saw something. I can't find it anymore, but there's only 2 players from that 2013 prelim that'll be likely, because Mitch Duncan and Cam Guthrie are on the list, but are highly unlikely, I'd imagine, to play. Mark Blitzarves and Jack Gunston are the only 2 And Bruce has obviously just done his knee, so he'll be done. So those are the only two that will be returning from that matchup 12 years ago.
Pretty much, yeah. So,
which is wild that it's been that long.
What's your prediction?
Oh, we'll get as close as you can get to maxing this thing out. That's what's going to happen. It'll be 98 or something ridiculous like that. 90. So,
are you going to go? Or?
Yeah, I'll be going. I haven't worked out any of my movements yet. If I end up just going on my own like I did for the last one, then so be it. But I will not be missing this no matter what. So
I think I'll likely be MCC. So far I'm going by myself.
We'll get our corporate box going. You and as Ben will readily talk about, we'll get the caviar out and all those sorts of things. Anyway, so but if that ends up being the case, maybe we'll try and link up and enjoy the game together then. Because if there's probably a high, considering it's a nighttime thing, highly likely that the wife and kids probably won't come along. The kids' bedtime is 7:30, let alone going to a football game at 7:30 or for a 7:30 start. So she'll probably then be on duty looking after them at home while I go to the game and scream my lungs out. So
yeah. And then I'm really nervous. It's either going to be there's no in between. It's either going to be the best or worst night of the year. So
yeah.
Oh.
Well, Ben, it's been awesome to have you on board, mate. We'll definitely chat over the course of the week in the lead up to the game. But give me a margin on the way out, presuming that it's a Cats win that you're predicting. Cats by how much? And this can evolve, of course. We'll take everyone's thoughts over the course of the week with things like the Paul James show, etc. But what's your heart saying right now? Or head?
By 18. And I'll say our best on ground will be Dangerfield.
Oh, I like it. His name didn't come up in our entire conversation, but of course, the skipper to put in a blinder in the prelim final would be appropriate.
I'll say something real quick. I predicted that he would play more midfield time against Brisbane as if we were just playing him up forward, and he was doing that. He was playing more midfield time against the Lions, so I just think, it will happen again. So I'm going to say he'll be best.
And to JFR's question, what's your honest prediction? Pies or Lions, who wins?
I'll say the Pies by I'll say by 7 or something. That would be the classic. I reckon
it'll be a close. That'll be a classic prelim final.
Yeah,
type one. That said, they could both be really. Well, Ben, thanks for coming on board, mate. Again, like I said, we might chat throughout the course of the week. But enjoy, and we'll talk soon.
Cheers, Paul. Have a good rest of the show.
Will do. See you, mate. All right. So next up, we've got Kiri. How's things, mate?
G'day, Paul. How are you?
I'm very well. Shirt, you kept the shirt on for me.
Yeah, I kept the shirt on. Obviously, we didn't play this week, but
nothing to get too excited about.
But no, obviously, I was at the Adelaide and Hawthorn game last night.
Yeah.
I went with my uncle, who's a Crow supporter as well. Sit with him, and the first 5 minutes when Hawthorn kicked the first 3 goals, he said to me, "Kiri, this game's over, mate."
It did have that feel about it.
Oh, it was, and I knew it as well. Adelaide just weren't simply up to it. No one was manning up. Jod Yucum was absolutely taking the Adelaide midfield to the cleaners. I thought he was unbelievable. His first quarter, I just thought he was taking the absolute piss. Like, he's great by hand, great by foot. He's just taken out of the centre with ease. It was just like a knife through butter. And when Adelaide had the ball, they just absolutely looked lethargic. They looked slow. They just looked scared. Like, the bright lights were there, and they absolutely shut the bed. And it's really disappointing from an Adelaide perspective as well.
They played 8 quarters of footy and didn't win a single one of them.
I expected them to bounce back, especially. I thought they'd steamroll them in the second quarter, but that wasn't the case. And I wanted to face the Crows in a prelim. I I didn't want to face the Hawks, but like what Ben said, there is no in betweens. This could be the best night, or this could be absolutely the worst night of our lives. But I said this in the beginning of the final series. To make the grand final, you're going to have to get past Brisbane. You're going to have to get past Adelaide. Well, now we're going to have to get past our old foe. So, yeah. It's another.
Yeah, I mean, look, if we go on to win this thing at the end of the year, especially because then also, there's a chance it could have to be Brisbane again or the Pies, who, for the first half of the season, almost first 2/3 of the season, were considered the best team in it by a mile. If we go on to win this grand final this year, there'll be no doubting that we absolutely deserved it. So,
100%.
But that's counting chickens, and that's probably getting a little bit carried away because we do have to deal with the Hawks this week. But But I think that sentiment kind of applies for whichever team wins at this point. Like they've had to. I think every team has had to do it the hard way. Brisbane, if they get there, will have had to have overcome Geelong. Will have had to have overcome the crosstown rival, who's absolutely plucky, young, and developing, and smoked them by 11 goals earlier in the year. They're going to have to deal with the Pies. They're then going to have to deal with the Hawks or the Cats a second time. Hawthorn have gone the hard way. Collingwood will have to have gone into. They've probably had the easiest run up to this point because it seems like they caught the one team that was just not switched on through this final series. But it's not going to. I think every team's got a pretty good story at this particular point in time. Especially if the Pies do make it to the grand final, then they will have had to have overcome Brisbane. So,
100%. In my opinion as well, I think Collingwood has the easiest path to get in the grand final. I just can't see Brisbane making it past the prelim, given the injuries that they have, left, right, and centre. Losing Lachie Neale in the midfield, massive loss for them. I think Hugh McCluggage is carrying something. You can see his knee was like strapped up tonight as well. But with that being said, this season has been unpredictable. Brisbane could do it again. They could make another grand final. But I think Collingwood, they've got one foot in the grand final as well. And if they blow this one, I think this would be an absolute fuck up. And g'day Jezelenko. Yeah, wearing the Liverpool shirt. So yeah. But what do we have to do to beat the Hawks? Well, just simply do the exact opposite to what the Crows were doing. Like, don't play goals. Kick some goals. Don't do this bullshit zone defense. Like, fucking man the fuck up. That's all I'm going to say. Apply that forward half pressure. Just replicate what we did against Brisbane in the qualifying final.
To be fair, and so don't want to, I guess, pick the teeth out too much of what you said because you're obviously throwing a few thoughts together at once there. But Geelong obviously played a pretty heavily zoned game in that matchup against Brisbane. But what they did, and I don't know, have you checked out? I've forgotten the name of his channel now, but Jeff White's channel. Did you see his little analysis of that one? The way the Geelong players position themselves to cut off that 45. That 45 kick. Like I think that is the exact same way that you need to play Hawthorn.
100%. And knowing Chris Scott and the coaches, I'm sure they would have done their homework. Like Hawthorn nearly got us in that Easter Monday final Easter Monday game as well. And at that time, we sort of weren't hitting our straps yet. Our back half of the season has been absolutely sensational. I know we sort of had a soft draw, but no one would have picked Sydney or Port Adelaide to absolutely dip out of the 8 last year. But I think this is what we need to come into a grand final as well. You need these sort of challenges, like the 07 prelim, obviously the 2022 qualifying final, both against Collingwood. They threw absolutely everything at us through the kitchen sink, and I think this is a test that we need to face if we are worthy to be premiers.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. And JFL makes a pretty good point here that Hawthorn thrive on teams that are inconsistent. If Geelong can maintain a decent level like they did last week, he believes we should be fine.
And I think Hawthorn, Adelaide just simply disrespected their opponent, and that's what I felt like. No disrespect to the Hawks, but Adelaide just simply shut the bed. I think GWS, they should have won that game in the elimination final, but the umpires bailed them out. Like, they nearly coughed up a 42-point lead in the elimination final. So,
and for me, I'm just like a team that goes on to win a grand final doesn't put themselves in that situation. Mostly, I say 100%. That Brisbane obviously won a whole string of massive comeback games through their finals campaign last year to win the flag. But your best of the best, they don't find themselves in that situation, then cough that up, and then have to scramble again to win it back. So that's just through that very layman sort of analysis, it does make me want to think that Geelong should just get it done here.
Absolutely.
But Tomato's point, May2's point, I'm about as confident as I could ever be going into a Geelong and Hawthorn game, which is to say I'm never feeling confident going into a Geelong and Hawthorn game.
Yep.
There's just 100%. A pit in the stomach the entire time. And now that the stakes are as high as they are, I am shitting bricks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, come Thursday night, don't think I'm going to sleep. Friday all day, probably going to struggle at work. Probably the week leading up to it. Goodness gracious me.
So talk to me about, it was the question that Ben and I were chatting about before, the Jai Newcombe situation. What's if you're in the coach's box, you're Chris Scott for the night, which Lucas will say is me giving Chris Scott an out here. But if you're Chris Scott for the night, how are you handling Jai Newcombe? What's your plan for him?
I think the consensus would put O'Shea Mullen on him. I think he can absolutely get the job done on him. He'll probably rack up 28 to 30 disposals, but I think he'll minimise.
He did last time. He got 28 last time we played. Now I don't know if he was tagged that day, but you got 28, and of those, and let me quickly double check it. Of those 28, 21 of them were handballs.
And we know how good Newcombe was by foot as well. If he minimises that sort of impact out of the centre square going to the Hawks forward 50, I think we'll be fine. Others I said in the chat earlier, I reckon Atkins can do the job on Warple. O'Connor on Weddle, he tore it up last night as well. But I'd say, Jai Newcombe, he's the number one. He's the number one threat. You take him out of the game, I think the cookie will crumble for the Hawks.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Their game plan was heavily relying off of him and losing. And in my opinion, I think Will Day's their best midfielder. He's obviously not playing.
Agreed.
He's injured. That is a massive blow for them, and heavily relying on Jai Newcombe. So.
What about Gunston?
I think Jack Henry does the job on him.
Okay, so we're in sync with that one.
Yeah, 100%. You put a Sam De Koning on him. Oh, God forbid, because
no, he'll get lost.
5 minutes, he'll concentrate. He'll just turn off. Nah. But if
and I don't think Jack Gunston has the height to justify Sam De Koning either, to be fair.
No. But I see Ben Reeve in the chat. He's saying in Mitch Nevitt out, Jai Clark, 100%. I'd agree. I'd agree with that as well. This be good. He'd make a good sub, Mitch Nevitt.
Look, I said my piece obviously in the video during the week. I'm big on what Jai can offer. Like he tries to play this really animalistic type of game when he's in the seniors. He just doesn't have the frame to do it yet, and he kind of gets shoved off the contest a little too easily. His disposal still needs a little bit of work at the top level, but I don't mind the type of game he wants to play. Mitch Nevitt just has that, to your point and to Ben's point. Mitch Nevitt has that bigger frame. He's not jacked by any stretch, but his body's still developing as well. But he's a bigger person, bit more weight on him as well, just a bit more developed, I suppose. So
he is.
I think he could, probably play that role a bit better. But the one, and Roaming's just done it again. For me, it's Jed. Jed's the one that comes in and deals with a Jack Ginnivan or a Nick Watson. He's the one for those two, I think, or for one of those two, I should say.
Yeah, for sure.
Lawson for the other.
I like to see my man Lawson go on Nick Watson. I absolutely think he'll deck the shit out of him. I'll be absolutely all for it, man. I will be absolutely all for it. Get Lawson on the short fraud, mate. I can't talk. I'm similar to his height as well.
Actually, the thing that's just also occurred to me, I've quickly gone back and taken a look at the lineups from when we played them early in the year. The thing that we've forgotten here is that Jack Henry was actually, that was when he was out injured.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, so we had Sam De Koning and Connor O'Sullivan as our key defenders. Tom Stewart was obviously in at the time, but we know his form at the beginning of the season. He was not in great shape at the very beginning of the year as well. So we were a bit depleted in the defensive stocks throughout the course of the game. But as we start kind of plotting these players against so I'm quickly bringing up Hawthorn's forward line from tonight.
Yeah.
And I go, okay, Chol, Lewis, and Gunston we've discussed, and that's your Henry, De Koning, and O'Sullivan trio that sort that out. Josh Weddle is probably the Tom Stewart matchup. You'd imagine, or Zach Guthrie. Either one of those two, I think, kind of fit the bill. I think Zach Guthrie's got, not that Tom Stewart's slow by any stretch, but I think Zach Guthrie's got the wheels maybe a little bit better suited for a Josh Weddle who's got that real pace.
Yeah.
But then you're talking about Nick Watson and Jack Ginnivan being handled by, based on our team from this week, and as much as I'm lobbying very hard to try and get Jed in the team, if I just based it on the team that we rolled out with last week, then that's where you've got either, whichever one of Tom Stewart and Zach Guthrie we're not using, and Lawson Humphreys to deal with Watson and Jack Ginnivan. And I'm pretty okay with those matchups.
Yeah, I would be too, Paul. 100%.
But to Jeslenko's point, Josh Weddle's becoming a bit of a problem up forward. He's certainly playing some very good football, and there's always something about a Hawthorn number 23 that we don't like.
Man,
or it is dangerous, I should say.
He was he was a threat up forward. When I saw it live, I thought, fuck, this is another guy we need to put attention to as well, because we know Jack Gunston, he'll do his job. He'll probably kick his 3 or 4 goals, but Josh Weddle, I think he's flying under the radar as well. Like, it's something about that number 23, like you said as well, Paul. Goodness gracious me.
It's a blessing for a Hawthorn supporter, and it's a curse for everyone else. That's it. Did he get on the scoreboard? What did he do last night? I've just lost his name. Oh, that's right. Oh, shit. Yeah, he could have blown this thing apart. He kicked 1 goal 3.
Yeah.
So what about flipping the script to the other end of the ground then, if we want to talk about, the Geelong forward line? And so, I'll kind of rattle off. Obviously, we know our forward line pretty well, but I'll kind of highlight. Oh, hang on, because I'm looking at the last one where Weddle was a defender at that point. Let me go back to their lineups from yesterday. So we're talking, Josh Battle, Tom Barras, Blake Hardwick, Jarman Impey, James Sisley, and Massimo D'Ambrosio. How do you feel like those guys are going to line up? What do you think the matchups look like? And of course, in this game, these matchups kind of shuffle and slide around all the time.
Yeah,
but how do you think that looks? I mean, Impey was a big player for the Hawks last time we played them.
Yeah,
probably their best last time we played. Now I don't know who he was playing on last time, but do we toss a Brad Close onto him to just because Brad Close is very accountable. He can get you the other way, and he's very accountable.
If I just get the matchups from the previous team, because I've got the AFL website on as well.
Yeah, I'm taking a bit of a look at that too. And obviously the spanner in the mix there is that Weddle was, in the forward, was listed as a defender at that time, but So ultimately, it's Weddle out of the defensive line and D'Ambrosio in.
Yeah,
He was listed as a wingman, so they're all there. Again, all these pieces can kind of move around a little bit. Ben's also just highlighted. He's summarized everything for us. So outs from last time: Ollie Henry, Ted Close, Mitch Nevitt, and Reece Stanley. Yeah,
well, assuming hopefully Stanley's fit and ready to go come prelim time as well.
Gut says he won't be personally.
Because I know we're changing the subject here, but I thought Lloyd Meek was he was outstanding in the ruck as well. Just absolutely towed up Riley O'Brien, and this is something I'm absolutely going to be worried about as well. I don't know what Blitz. I don't know if Blitz has ever matched up with Lloyd Meek in the past, but I think Stanley better be right. That's all I'm going to say, because I think we'll be fucked.
Look, I mean, in terms of the actual ruck contest, yeah, but I think Blitz, similar to, like he wasn't really going to be able to compete with Darcy Fort when it came to the ruck contest last week. He just doesn't have the height. But I feel like he competed in that ruck contest in such a way that it allowed for him to get down to ground level really, really quickly and be that fourth proper, roving midfielder as opposed to the ruckman. And I feel like if he can do that again, Meek's not bad not a bad ruckman. He throws his body around. He's going to make Mark Blitzarves earn it, even if he tries to outplay him in that way. But I think he can absolutely outplay Lloyd Meek in that role. So, and then I think it's if, as we were discussing with Ben before, I think if Meek does decide he wants to float forward and try and get them there, that's when I think your defenders start to shuffle a little bit. That Mark Blitzarves gets in there and takes on a Chol or a whoever it happens to be. Like he takes them, and De Koning being the tallest of those options, and someone who's more than capable in the ruck. That's when De Koning goes and mans him up. Not because Sam's not stronger than him, but he's got the reach, he's got the height, and he's then got the defensive nous. So
yeah, for sure.
I think that's how you probably play that one. They've just got to get that communication right to make sure that the handover kind of occurs properly. Now, he's not going to get you with a fast lead. He's going to be probably plucking it out of a contest, if anything else. So that does give Geelong a decent enough opportunity to perform some sort of handover. Or they'll just find themselves all in the same contest anyway, and so it is what it is at that particular point. But he is a worry for me. There's probably two or three in particular that worry me. Obviously, Gunston, just because he's in career best at this point, and he's having his Tom Hawkins 2022 year. But Gunston, Newcomb, and Meek are probably the ones that worry me the most. And I think there's kind of a plan in place for all of them. I mean, what did you think going back to the Newcomb thing? What do you think of my pitch around Tommy Atkins just going head to head with him?
I like for that to happen. But I just don't think he'd match Newcomb's speed, in my opinion, as well.
Is Newcomb that quick?
Oh, he was.
Did he just get it in good space?
He was pretty electric, but again, it's
It could just be me misreading his speed.
It's very
because he doesn't have the body
with the ball. No one could catch this guy. That's just how unbelievable he was. Well, again, Adelaide just disrespecting their opponent. And I think, as I said before, I think he's more suited onto a player more like James Worpel as well. Hey, Worpel might put on a good job interview for us coming next year as well. And obviously, I'm going to be watching it from the living room, and I'll definitely be cheering for him when he has the ball. Maybe not when he
if the game's done, I'll give him a little bit of an applause. But I think I said this on the Discord earlier in the day. As far as I'm concerned, this is not like Paddy Dangerfield in 2015 where we couldn't make the finals, neither could the Crows. He was playing his final game for them. Everyone in the place knew it. There was the applause for him every time he got the ball.
Oh yeah,
this is about as high stakes as you can possibly get. So So as far as I'm concerned, even if he's about to become a cat, James Worpel can properly get fucked until the Hawks are knocked out of this campaign.
We don't like him because he's playing in the piss and shit. So Baz should the ball into Impey's face again. I like that. Oh, here's a matchup.
No, you watch. The umpire will give him 2 free kicks in the goal square.
Now it's coming to my mind. Here's a matchup I want to see. Brian Myers on Connor Nash.
100%. Grind's too gentle. He won't do it. He won't do anything. Even Atkins could just like shit. Oh, Atkins could shirt front Jack Ginnivan like what he did in the game against Collingwood. We've got to save all that stuff for grand final day.
A couple
don't
years
want to get
ago.
rubbed out for a grand. Don't want to get rubbed out for grand final. Don't do it in the prelim.
Oh, jeez, yeah. But yeah, bloody Ginnivan was quiet though. He only had like the 8 disposals. I didn't even notice him on the ground. Like, well, that's if he's going to be fit and right to go, because I know he's got a hamstring scare. Same with Jack Gunston. I think they'll play Gunston, but I don't know. I just have this gut feeling Jack Ginnivan might be laid out. Wishful thinking, but we'll see.
I mean, the real wishful thinking is for Gunston to go out, but yeah, I do follow what you mean. Oh hell, and we'll toss Newcomb and Meek in there as well. But I don't know. There's going to be some. Yeah, this the whole thing just makes me anxious. I look at their list and I go, we should beat these guys, but then we see what they've been achieving, and we know that like individually they're all pretty fantastic players. We haven't even discussed, Carl Amon as a threat, for example. We haven't really honed in on Jarman Impey that much. Ward is fantastic. Dylan Moore has been dangerous for years.
Yeah, Carl Amon out of the halfback flank. I remember he was one of Port Adelaide's most reliable kicks, because I've seen plenty of Port games with him. I thought he was just absolutely lethal. He loves the Adelaide Oval, playing in the big grounds as well. Jarman Impey too. I thought he took some really important marks down back as well. Yeah, these are the things, and this is what I don't want Geelong to do. What the Crows were doing, these long bomb kicks and hoping for the best. Like that would just
lower the eyes.
Game lower the eyes. These low penetration kicks, which what we're really good at, and a lot of players staying behind the ball, not taking the lead. Like Riley Thilthorpe was behind it. I mean, Taylor Walker behind it, Darcy Fogarty behind it. The three-headed monster, like, just not existent.
And they didn't use him. They didn't use him properly.
Nah. And Josh Rochelle. I know we're talking about the Crows. This is the other thing. His 10 minutes more impact. He had more impact than what the rest of the other blokes did on the field.
4 disposals, 4 kicks, 2 goals.
Come on, man.
Another goal assist on top of that.
And Matthew Nick said before the game, we'll think he'll be an important player in the finals. Well, why didn't you start him, man?
Well, I mean, wasn't there all this concern about his body though? Like, it sounds like they almost Max Rooked his hand, with some cow's blood and probably a few little prayers beforehand just to hope that he'd get through it. So I think they were being pretty cautious. But Ben says try saying Tilthorpe and Warple after 10 beers. Man, I struggle to say Tilthorpe or finish this sentence at the best times. So, Jezza also asks about Connor McDonald. He's a gun. I won't acknowledge that bloke because he's got a disgusting rat tail out of the back of his head.
I don't like it.
Stop looking like a flog. I'm not interested. You look like a dickhead, mate. As does Kai Lohman, but he wisened up. He shaved his head.
He shaved his head. I was sort of like,
but you could also see the strips down the side. So I'm wondering if he got a real dodgy haircut and he's like, oh shit, this has got to go.
That's what it was. Apparently, he went to the barbers and they butchered it. He said, "Nah, we're getting rid of it." So,
suck shit, dickhead.
Oh man. But, I swear to God, we play Brisbane in the grand final again. If Cam Rayner fucking flops like a princess, I swear to God. Ooh. Absolutely. I swear to God. Every time he has the ball, fucking boo the shit out of him, man.
All 10,000, Geelong supporters there and 10,000, and then all the corporates. Such a shame. Anyway.
Hopefully Atkins has been growing the moustache, 100%. No,
that's when he goes into beast mode. That's his special power. Yeah. A bit like Cam Guthrie with his dreads.
Yeah, but no clean shaven Atkins. No,
we can't have that. No.
Nah, he's got to grow a bushy beard. He's got to grow a bushy beard, I reckon. Bit like Max Rook.
Bit like but Max Rook, or even just at the bare minimum what you've got going at the moment.
I'd kill to have facial hair like him. I need to shave. Why am I saying this? Bloody
hell. Any other players or thoughts around either the semis that we've had or the upcoming one that the upcoming prelim that we care most about?
Well, I know this was a guy that you were talking about earlier, and this was someone that I thought was going to have an absolute breakout sort of September. Obviously, it hasn't clicked in yet. But I reckon Jack Martin. I reckon he can have an absolute blinder on the prelim. What we saw, what he's capable of when he kicked 4 goals against Port Adelaide in the space of 5 minutes. I think, give him the time, give him the space. I think he'll be unreal. Like he's so far his body's been holding up, which is great.
It has, touch wood.
And I think he could be one of those. It's one of those players that you need, like not superstars, but you need these role sort of players.
Yep.
Lift your superstars to win the games. That's what obviously happened in the prelim last year, like your Kai Lomans, like your Cam Rainers,
your Zach Baileys,
your Zach Baileys. You need your X factor type of performers, and I believe Jack Martin's one of them. And I just love when we desperately need a spark in the forward line. Hawthorn's throwing absolutely everything in us. All of a sudden, Jack Martin, he's kicking 3, 4, 5 goals, and the Carlton fans are all saying, "Oh, this is another one we let go." So,
I'll toss someone out there that we haven't really discussed so far tonight, but I think, assuming we win, of course, because that'll end Hawthorn's campaign, Newcomb's probably the front runner right now.
Yeah.
But I think by the end of this final series, if things kind of go the way that we want them to, I think this bloke's going to be the Gary Ayres medal winner, Ollie Dempsey.
Yep, I knew you were going to say that.
His name hasn't come up so far, but that was unreal, his first final. And he's just got that, you're talking about X Factor. He's that one that, whether it's off the wing or wherever else, that he can just cut this game to ribbons. And I just don't think that Hawthorn have got the right players in those positions to deal with it. Dylan Moore's too interested in chasing a goal himself. He's a fantastic player, don't get me wrong. I think he's an All-Australian. But is a little bit too interested. Carl Amon's maybe the one that's got enough of that defensive nous to stick with him. But then I just don't think he's got the skill set to then compete with an Ollie Dempsey with the X factor and the aerial capabilities and those sorts of things.
100%.
And he'll get too sucked into the contest while Ollie will float out the back, and then if by some chance it gets turned over, Ollie will tear off the other direction and catch back up with him again. Yeah. I think Ollie Dempsey's the one for me that we're just. I think as Cats supporters, I don't think we're sleeping on him. I think we're just assuming that he's going to do something exceptional. But he's the one for me. Ben Absolutely. Says Jez will kick 7 goals in the prelim and 8 in the grand final to win the Gary Ayres medal, and also would come away with 100 goals.
Oh, how good would that be? Yeah.
Pussy says.
Hey, Pussy, how you going, mate? I do agree. Ollie Dempsey, we saw how good he was in the qualifying final as well, and I said this on the previous show, how he did not at least make it to the All-Australian squad on the wing. I absolutely Ridiculous. Do not know. His work rate off the ball is just unbelievable. Like you see him take an unbelievable. You see him take a mark, somewhere in the back line. All of a sudden, he just runs and runs and runs and runs and runs all the way to the goal square. He takes another unbelievable hanger. I mean, but when he has the ball, just everything he touches just turns to gold with Ollie Dempsey. He's going to be such. He's already a special player for us, and I just can't wait to see his career blossom for Geelong. And I think Jake said this on the Chaps Chat Cats. I listened to a podcast as well. I think Dempsey has the tools to become an on-baller down the track. Once he adds a bit more muscle, a bit more craft, I think he's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I could see that as well. Oh shit! I had another point I was going to flag, and it's just disappeared on me. Nah, maybe it'll come back, maybe it won't. Is there anyone else you wanted to highlight though?
Oh, my man Lawson. We know he's taken. I love the guy. He's taken 5 steps backwards. He's still playing good. He's still playing good footy, but oh man, when's that breakout game going to come from him as well?
He is playing best 23 football, but he's not. He hasn't quite hit the same heights that he hit last year. And to be 100%. Fair, it's probably just the second year blues to an extent. But But it'd be nice if he really clicked in this one and just squashed.
I like to see him further up the ground on the wing. I think he could be absolutely really good up there.
And we did dabble with that a little bit in the Brisbane game too.
Yeah, I saw him on the wing at times. Like
it was probably a byproduct of Blitzarves being in the ruck, to be fair. But
yeah. But I could see like you throw Dempsey in the midfield. You could put Humphreys up on the wing. I think this is something we could experiment. I'd say next year. But yeah, could be the second year blues. But you know, come on, Lawson. We saw how good you were last year. I want more, brother.
Just remember what I was going to ask you and the chat. Actually, maybe someone in the chat knows the answer to this as well. When do they actually lock away who the Rising Star player is going to be, like the winner for the year? Because honestly, Levi Ashcroft has stunk it up. Dan Curtin hasn't done anything through the finals. Who else is being touted as a potential winner?
Oh, the Fremantle guy, Murphy Reid.
They're gone, and he didn't offer that much. He had one really good moment. This is like,
yeah.
He put in a fantastic first final, showed his class, and in the real heat of the moment. He's got the opportunity to do it again. Obviously, they'll then announce the Rising Star before the grand final, but I don't know. I feel like if you're a selector for this thing, and if they haven't locked those votes away yet, surely you have a look at what these guys are offering at the finals level of football and go, well, this is the bloke that's like Connor O'Sullivan is absolutely performing the best of all these Rising Star competitors at finals time. So I feel like that should add a few points to his pitch, but we'll see what happens. Yeah. Jackie says that finals aren't included
which is a shame. And this is the same argument with your goal and mark of the year as well. Last year, I was live at the qualifying against Port Adelaide. Jeremy Cameron, snapped it from the boundary. Absolutely unbelievable. I can't remember what was the actual win. Oh, Harley Reid. Against Melbourne. Maybe we need to throw finals in the mix. Like,
I think you should.
Yeah,
even 100%. If it is, up because it would be weird and awkward to do it after the grand. No, but I feel like if you're going to include finals, you've got to do the whole lot at this point and then just announce it after the grand final. Because who knows, you could have a ripper in grand final day. I was going to say maybe it's just one of those things that comes out or is finally determined, and announced just like the Brownlow in that week, and you could announce it on Brownlow night, but It's probably not enough time for them to get what they need organised to do it Brownlow night, because obviously the Brownlow winners clearly already been identified. It's just a matter of revealing it.
What are your chances on Sean Manor winning the Rising Star? He obviously won the Young Player of the Year.
He played too many games last year to be eligible for the Rising Star.
George Stevens still filthy. Oh, absolutely. Yep. He was
absolutely dogged
that one.
But at least he'll still be eligible next year. So George Stevens, 2026 Rising Star.
Oh, I hope so. This is another. I know we're talking about other things, but this is another guy I seriously want in the side as well. Yep. Great debut against Richmond. Obviously got outclassed by GWS, a much more classy midfield, and he's never seen again. People are saying, "Oh, he's not good enough," but we'll never know if he's good because we've never given him another chance.
Yeah. No, I think his chance will come again next year. I don't think there's anything to worry about there. I don't think I know people going, oh, he might go looking for opportunity elsewhere. What's this? His second year? Third year?
Second year, yeah.
If you're a player, like unless you're like a Nick Dacos, that type of pedigree coming straight out of the draft, most players don't come with the assumption that, I'm just going to be a walk-up by the end of my second season. most would be going, oh, sweet, I've played an AFL game. Like I'm halfway there now. So I don't think he'll be one that, goes departing for opportunity. Ted Closey is a different conversation. I feel like he might be, and apparently there's a bit of interest there from some other clubs. So we'll see what happens in that regard.
Yeah.
Which never, I don't know. I don't think, look, he could be in the same position as Closey, but I feel like he's closer to being selected than Closey these days.
I think there's 3, but you can't keep all 3 of them. I think either 1 or 2 will make the cut. That's how I see it, and find out who it is.
Ben just highlights Atkins to break the tackle record in a final on Friday.
Yeah. I said this on the Discord chat. Yeah.
How many does he need that record?
Well, Josh Dunkley broke the record of Jimmy Bartell in the grand final. He had 16. Dunkley's got 17.
Oh.
He's got 17 now, Josh Dunkley, but it's only in a final. So Jimmy Bartell still has the grand final record. At the end of the day, that's all what matters. But geez, I'd love Tom Atkins to have a absolute filthy sort of day.
That's what he's going to do when he's on Jai Newcomb on Friday night.
Oh, I love 20 tackles, man. That'd be unbelievable.
Also, keep Matty Rowell. Oh no, actually no. With the Suns out, I don't think. I doubt Rowell got 9 tackles tonight anyway. So,
nah. Well, that's This is the other thing as well. Like,
holy shit, Dunkley. Yeah, Dunkley had 8. Oh, and did you know that Dunkley got 18 tonight?
Oh, I saw he had 18. Yeah, I saw he had 17. He had 18 at the end. Right.
Apparently, the final number's 18. Yeah. But then Rowell with 8. So Tom Atkins is already one. It still remains 1 clear of Matt Rowell with at least another game to play. So it's his for the taking. I can't imagine Dunkley's close enough.
100%. I was getting worried at the end, because Matt Rowell was coming up, and I thought, Tom Atkins is not liking the recognition, not liking the spotlight, so he's dipped down a little bit, but nah.
Dunkley is 12 tackles behind Tom Atkins. So,
oh wow.
With potentially both players potentially having 2 games up their sleeves. So you'd imagine, unless we get fall out of the prelim and Brisbane proceed, then you'd imagine Tom Atkins probably holds on to that by the end of the season.
100%. Yeah. 18 tackles. That's taking the piss. Well, to be fair, Gold Coast just folded like a deck of cards after half time. Disappointing for them considering their hot start in the first quarter as well. They just capitulated. But, they're like, oh, well, got to the finals, won a final there. Like, that's it. No worries.
Job done.
Job done. Go home.
Let's go make our pitch for Charlie Curnow now.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. But, nah.
18, that's wild.
That's unbelievable. Atkins, I think, didn't he have like 17 tackles against the Crows 2022?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
They're monsters, these blokes. But also, massive credit to Dunkley because he was the top dog with Neil out. He was the top dog and he stepped up. Yeah,
100%. Like they still have a good midfield, like regardless as well. Like full credit to Dunkley. It was unbelievable that game.
Yeah.
But a win against Hawthorn means nothing unless we win the premiership. 100% agree. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's still a pretty good feeling, to be fair.
It'd be nice.
Especially in the knockout final. There's a hoodoo there that we need to break.
It'd be nice, but final. Yeah, we didn't come to the grand final for nothing, It would settle some wounds though, that's for sure.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And you do that, and you do probably walk away going, all right, we can do anything now. Like, yeah, let's do this thing. 100%. Well, before we wrap things up, mate, and before we bring Horatio in next, give us a tip and a margin for Friday night. We don't care about the other game.
Well,
whoever, whenever.
I reckon Cats by 8 points. I think it's going to be an absolute nail biter. I reckon we'll start really, really hot. half time,
back at one point.
We'll probably be up by about 30, 35 points. Third quarter, that's when Sam Mitchell's going to absolutely drill into the boys. Hawthorn will absolutely throw everything at us, but I think our experience and our maturity will absolutely find a way and hold on, get to another grand final. But yeah, I think it's going to be a close one. For the other game, I think the Pies will steamroll the Lions. I reckon they'll win by about 38 points. Pies by 25 at the grand final.
If that's who I think it is.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I think they're rolling out the red carpet for Collingwood in the grand final. If they blow this one with the list they've got right now, like be unbelievable. Like,
but also not surprising at all at the same time.
Yeah, not surprising at the same time. Like, but yeah, because we've been saying the wheels are falling off at Collingwood and all of that, but they've got it the easiest to get in. They've got one foot in there. We do as well, but we got a challenge. This is the fucking Hawks.
Yeah.
So anyway, Paul, thanks for having me on, and
no worries, mate.
Hopefully we'll see you on grand final day. I coughed the $240 for the priority one out on as well. So yeah, if we get in. We're all in, and yeah, hopefully catch up for a beer before or after the game with the rest of the Hoops crew as well.
Yeah, I've got a very tricky conversation to have with my wife and then my 4-year-old daughter if we make it. But I'll try and thread the needle on that one, and we'll hopefully be punching down a celebratory beer at some point on grand final day. But 100%. Mate, it's been good to chat as always. Look forward to doing it again sometime soon.
Yeah, no worries, Paul.
Next time, maybe we see you on Hoops Crew content. Hopefully your shirt is off.
Shirt's off on bloody...
For a win. Shirt's off for a win.
Yeah, right in front of the MCG, yeah. Oh, for the pre...
Oh, well, yeah, I meant for the win on postgame, next postgame live next Friday. But
oh, yeah. Well,
but sure, that too. You can whip it out in grand final day if you want. Sorry, I mean the rig.
Yeah. I might be going out. Might be going out for the prelim. Maybe... I heard Lucas wants to do something at the Sky City. Probably watch the game there, as the two Rowan Geelong supporters as well. We'll see how we go, but yeah. But maybe the shirt. I know Lucas. He'll have his shirt off regardless.
Of course he will. Yeah. If you're going out, he might then get taken away for indecent exposure, but. And I am just talking about the rig being it. I'm not talking about anything that hangs between the legs. But but depending on how much we beat the Hawks by, you might do something stupid there as well. So you just can't rule it out.
No, you can't. All right, mate. Thanks for the chat.
As always, chat soon, mate.
Yeah, see you on the next show.
See you later. All right, let's bring in Horatio. How's things, mate?
Yeah, pretty good.
Long day. Hanging so long, I've managed to have two guests and go for an hour and a half. So he was me saying on Discord earlier today that I wanted to keep it to 60 minutes to an hour and a half tops. Here we are, an hour and a half in, and I've only had two guests, and here you are. So
no, that was all right. When Ben was on earlier, I was watching another grand final. So
what was that?
It was the Northern Pilbara Football League grand final. Yeah, I happened to come across a channel a few years back called Filming Footy. They do a lot of country grand finals in
it's awesome.
In WA and South Australia. I actually came across it. They do like the interleague championship, like the country championships. They do.
Yeah.
They do that in WA, but they, instead of having it like they do in Victoria, where they sort of have they'll have like a week off where they all play each other and stuff. Because West Australia's so fucking huge, they all come down for a week and play play their games, and it's all sort of so it's kind of
and then go back in different directions again.
Yeah, it's a bit more condensed. So I actually started watching it because Harry Taylor was playing for Great Northern, because he'd gone back to Northampton with Josh Kennedy and Patrick Cripps's brothers were playing and all that.
Oh,
so
right, okay.
he was playing there, so he was playing red. Yeah, so it just happened to come on, and I didn't know he was playing. I didn't know he was out there, and I'm like, who's that bloke? That looks like Harry Taylor. And then I realised what the league was, and I was like, I mean, look,
it checks out.
Nobody else runs like Harry Taylor. So I was like, that guy's who's this bloke running around like a busted arsehole? It's like, oh, it's Harry, and it couldn't be anybody
that bloke
else.
Running around like he's Harry Taylor. Oh shit, it's Harry Taylor.
Yeah, it was, and then he took like 10 marks in the first quarter or something like that. So yeah, I just started watching it. Just started watching this channel through them, and I sort of have this ritual now because of these grand finals are always they're always on this particular week of AFL finals, so we're frequently not involved. So I end up like because it's up north and it's always hot up there. They play it at night, so it ends up finishing like about
being a bit cooler.
11 o'clock. Yeah, it always ends up finishing at like 10:45 at night, our time. But the first year I watched, I think, was 2022, and it was the Dampier Sharks versus the Karratha Cats. So of course I'm like, oh yeah, I'll go for the Cats, and they get a fair bit of ex-waffle talent up there and all that.
Yeah, right.
So decent standard, but it's a real sort of festival ground, and the crowd gets into it and stuff like that. So and it was a close game. I really enjoyed it. So it's kind of a ritual for me every year is watching this random league up in the northwest of West Australia. But yeah, like the Dampier Sharks we're going for 5 in a row tonight, and I think 4 of them have, but like this was the 4th grand final that Karratha Cats have played against them. And with about 5 minutes to go, it was over. The Sharks were going to win it 5 in a row. It was over. Cats are 3 goals down. They went bang, 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 leveled the scores with 10 seconds on the clock, got it into extra time, and then they had a flop. They had a flop. Well, they kicked a goal after because you get 5 minutes each way in the overtime. They kicked a goal at the end of the 5 minutes in the first half, and then when they switched side, Sharks kicked the goal straight away, leveled the scores, and then with 30 seconds to go, the ball's gone flying out the back. Captain's grabbed it for the Cats and just throw it on the boot. It's gone through for the point. They won the flag. Cool. So yeah, they pretty much won it. They pretty much won in the last 20 seconds, and the crowd went berserk. So
I've just found you filming footy as well. I've just quickly dropped a subscribe on that because I can see the live stream is like 7.5 hour long live stream from the North Pilbara Football League Grand Final Day, and we've got Great Northern Football League, Southern Football League. Like we've got all sorts here. This is awesome.
Yeah, so they do. They also do like the Mildura Sunraysia League and that in Victoria. I think that's the only Victoria one.
Yeah, there's Mildura for from earlier today. Oh shit, there's so many streams just in the last 12 hours alone.
Now I will say
netball in there as well. That's awesome.
Yeah, the quality can vary. Like this particular game, they were having some issues with their camera, so the first quarter and a half was almost like they were playing in the dark, and the audio was terrible. So, but that didn't really matter. But the other game, I watched the Great Northern game earlier, and like I think it was 2 years ago. Yeah, they had Harry was playing, Josh Kennedy was playing. Like I think Patrick Cripps's 3 brothers were playing or something like that. So they had they were playing for Northampton. They had a pretty good side. They were playing Railways, who were in the granny again today, and I've never seen anything like it. Siren's gone. The scoreboard's got Railways. They're a point in front, and then all of a sudden they're celebrating. They're going nuts, and all of a sudden everybody's like, no. What's going on? Umpires have checked the score. Score was wrong. The scores were actually level. So they had to go back and play extra time. And I'm like, they're shot. They are shot. And then
you can't afford to have those sort of scoring errors in those sorts of circumstances.
I know. Well, that was it. And then I think Josh Kennedy kicked 3 goals in the overtime, and it was over, and Northampton won the flag. I was like, and then for Railways, they shit the bed again today and got beaten by the side that finished 4th. So after losing, I think 1 game for the whole year. So.
That's a really interesting one. Yeah, no, I'm definitely keen that you've directed me to that one. I'm keen to see more of this stuff. And to Ben's question, will they televise my basketball grand final on Wednesday? No, they won't, Ben.
I don't know.
Unfortunately. So I'll make sure to embellish everything. I'll be draining Steph Curry threes from the back half of the court, and all sorts. You watch. We are definitely not the favourites in this grand final for what it's worth. So.
But yeah, Moe got wiped out by Traralgon earlier in the day, which was a bit disappointing a bit disappointing in the Gippsland League. So a couple of grand finals I didn't have a monstrous amount invested in, even though obviously I like the Karratha Cats. It was good to see them get up and bloody get rid of those Sharks, but very, very disappointed to see the bloody Lions coming up short again today. The Moe variety, not the Brisbane one.
Not the Brisbane one.
Yeah, so
give me some of your thoughts on the AFL level stuff. Obviously, you said you've been watching some of the more local stuff over the course today. But what have you made of the semis this week? And of course, the one that's most pertinent to us as Geelong supporters being the Hawks and the Crows game.
Well, I think the other guys, pretty much, I think you went over that fairly, pretty clearly with those guys. My commentary during the game last night was the main thing that stood out to me. I mean, apart from the fact that we were hanging a lot of shit on Mark Keane last night. He might have had the worst night. He might have had the worst finals game I've seen any player ever have, which is a shame because he's had a great year and has taken some big, made some big plays in big game,
big moments over the course of the year.
Yeah, he had an absolute every time you thought it couldn't get worse for him, it did.
It got worse. He always seemed like he was 5 meters behind his play. Like he just didn't play the occasion very well at all.
His decision making was atrocious. His disposal was atrocious. Just everything was off. But to be fair to him, at least he was getting a touch. God, they had some passengers last night. And this is the thing, like coming out in the second half, they've just hung in there. Jordan Dawson's, he's lifted his game. He's saying, right, we've got to lift, boys. I'll put you on my back, but you come with me. And what does he do? Gets the kick out of the centre, and then the ruckman shins it straight to one of their guys running out of defence. They go to get goal. I'm like, this game is over.
They're cooked. Yeah, they got no chance. The writing was on the wall pretty early on.
You could see, like, so many of their players, the confidence was just shot. And they just, and that was the thing, like you were talking about Rochelle earlier. There were concerns about his
body,
his body, but I'm like, he's one of those guys that, one of those annoying little pricks that you hate when they're playing, you love when they're playing for your team and you hate them when they're playing for any other team.
Exactly what Ginnivan and Watson will be against us next week.
Exactly. Those sorts of guys, you hate them. I mean, I used to say that like he wasn't necessarily a little bloke, but I used to say that about Gary Rowan with us. Like my missus hated him. And I said, look, he's one of those guys you absolutely hate when he's playing for someone else. When he's playing for you, you love him. Toby Green's the number one of those guys. Like I would kill to have Toby Green playing for Geelong. Like he's exactly the sort of guy that you want at your footy club. But
since he's not one of ours, we hate him.
Yeah, I'm just like, I personally, I've always been a fan of my music, can't stand him. But I said, I'll tell you, if he was playing for us, you'd love him.
Ben just popped in to say that Riley O'Brien's kick was nearly as bad as that one from Cameron Ling. The one that he missed from was directly in front of him.
The one he missed from a metre out that went out on the floor. I was listening to the Final Bell podcast that Lee does with Meg, and Meg was hanging shit on him about that. That was pretty funny. As
she should.
Oh, absolutely. And Lee was actually up to that. It's like, but he was generally a pretty reliable kick. So I don't know where that one come from, and he'd sort of come through as a a bit of a full forward. He'd sort of been playing like a player as a youngster. So I was like, where'd that kick go? I don't think you can possibly miss it from there. But
he found a way.
That was. But I mean, that was the thing, though. No, did we? That was that the game that ended up being a draw? I think that game ended up being was actually a draw.
Yeah, no, I couldn't give you an answer for that one,
but yeah, like I don't know. You just I the one thing that really stood out to me in last night's game was just, I can tell you right now, the way that we are not going to let the Hawks just waltz it out of defence, their defence like the Crows did last night. I mean, they weren't kicking it. They weren't kicking it to the advantage of their forwards, whatever position their forwards in, because their forwards weren't really getting in great positions anyway. But it's like, at least kick it to a contest where you can get the ball
a 50-50, bring it to the ground. Yeah, bring it to your smalls.
And lock it in. And yeah, like the thing with Rochelle is, at least Rochelle gets up and about. You know he's never going to be short on confidence. You saw he kicked a couple of great, really good goals. You know, he sort of got pumped up, and when they kicked a couple of goals, he got it. Yeah, he gets around the boys and all that. It's like, I reckon it was one of those things where, as soon as a coach, you say, look, we're not out of the game yet, but we've got to get a bit of run. We've got to get a bit of life and a bit of excitement going here. Really,
and the spark is sitting right there in the subs jacket. Yeah. Just flick the switch and send him on.
Well, yeah, and it's one of those things, like, if you're going to pick him, if he gets injured, he gets injured. There's no next week. If you lose, there's no next week anyway. So you might as well go out there and roll the dice, because your season's slipping away. And I mean, they probably bought him on a bit earlier than
they probably would have liked anyway.
Than they were intending to, because Hinge got injured. But yeah, I mean, yeah, there's not real. I mean, I don't think you can read. Yeah, I don't think you can read too much into Hawthorn's performance, because
the competition was so intense.
Adelaide were very, very poor. Like, just and it's those. Hawthorn's pressure was really good, and they had they played with a really attacking mindset, which, when you smell blood in the other team, that's what you've got to do. Yeah. And I mean, look, if it wasn't for Worrell, they would have won by 15 goals. Seriously. Like,
he was huge. He was huge for them.
And he was huge last week too. It's like, God, they would have been absolutely poleaxed like 2 weeks in a row. I mean, they were pretty convincingly beaten as it was, but mate, this guy saved them from absolute oblivion. But yeah, like, look, I think the thing I found most interesting about last night's game was you mentioned him earlier, Josh Weddle. I thought, is Hawthorn being a bit sneaky here and trying to play him in an Ollie Dempsey sort of role?
I think to an extent you're kind of right. Yeah,
he was doing a lot. Like, he was doing a lot of running both ways and getting that, and then you started seeing getting those mismatches up forward. Just from hard, just the amount of link up he was getting on that wing, just from running hard back and forwards. I'm like, or they know they've got this game. They know they've got these guys where they want them. They got them in the. Are they trying something out for next week? Found that very interesting.
It's where, going back to, I think, my point that I made before, I think that's where Brad Close, I think, is the right matchup for him, where he's very accountable, so he'll just run with him. He doesn't have the same blistering speed, but he's got the accountability. He'll play him really well, and he'll certainly call someone in if he's starting to get away. That's where maybe an Ollie Dempsey picks him up midway through and kind of follows him the whole distance if Weddle's charging forward. But then offensively, you can't ignore Brad Close. So I think he might be the perfect. I don't think Tyson Stengel, for example, has the defensive discipline. He's great inside 50, but I don't think moving up the ground in terms of the full ground press. I don't think Stengel has that sort of discipline. Grind's a bit too creative, and I think we'd want to be able to use him in other ways. Brad Close, though, I think can play that role really well. So I think he's probably the right matchup and can go with him to each end of the ground if required. That's my gut feel.
Well, I just felt like, they were sort of playing him closer to more of a wing type situation than as a pure forward for most of that second half. And then, like that was the thing. Like he just kept sort of, he was just wasn't he just running off half back, giving off a kick or giving off a hand pass there?
He was there.
What's he doing? What's he doing standing by himself 30 meters out from goal? So yeah, so that'll be interesting. But apart from that, I feel with those guys, as long as we're not doing, they thrive on, if they can sort of get teams just bombing it long, kicking just kicking and hoping into their, get teams kicking and hoping into their forward line. That's the sort of thing their defenders their defense just loves that sort of thing, and that's exactly what the Crows did last night. And the stupid thing is, like, the Giants did a similar thing. Like it was like.
Oh, we lost you for a sec there, mate. Hopefully you're back in a moment. But I'll stall a little bit, and I'll give Horacio some time to potentially come back. But I do kind of agree with a lot of those sentiments. So hopefully he's back in a moment and we can resume this conversation. I'll just go full screen for a second. If you can hear me, mate, I can still see your video in the background. So once your camera's up and running, I'll pull you back in. But yeah, it's I do agree with a lot of those sentiments. It's a shame, and I'll quickly highlight it if he's watching and listening. That Bussy kind of highlights that Horacio's positivity was great in the Discord last night. Let's knock the Hawks over next week. Horacio and so many of you are absolutely phenomenal in the Discord. So if you're not part of our Discord community, make sure to... Oh, no, he's disappeared. Maybe he'll come back. If you're not part of our Discord community, make sure to check the link that's in the description of this video. Join the Discord and just share your thoughts about all things Geelong and more. Ben highlights that the Discord is blowing up. And it is currently, there's been like... I'm kind of getting it pinging in my ears as we go through. I saw something, Neil reckons he can be back for the prelim from Bussy a moment ago, and I panicked. I'm like, what? Shannon Neil's in trouble. No, it's Lockie Neal talking about himself. But lots of great conversation there in the Discord about all things football, but also some of the other topics as well. And the likes of Bussy as well as Horacio and so many others, frequent contributors in there, bringing really great energy. So shout out to all of you who participate. I'll stall for another minute or two to buy Horacio some time. So hopefully he's able to get himself back, but he might have had, the internet's cut out. He's just confirmed. Well, we might wrap things up there then. We'll definitely get to resume this conversation throughout the Discord, but also, through PostGame Live, next week, next week, the Paul James show on Monday. But oh, he's back now. Okay, no, hang on. I'll give you some time to pile back in. I've just started wrapping things up. Thomas has gone to say goodbye, but all of a sudden Horacio's saying he's back. So I'll give him a minute. If you want to pop back in, mate, feel free to. I'll drop that link back in the comments for you, so you can go piling back in, and we'll resume the conversation. But Ben suggests that the cat pulled the cord out on the modem. I'll give another minute then. We'll see. Oh, here we go. He's back. There we go. Problem solved. Oh, there we are. Gotcha.
Yeah, sorry about that. No, I was on my mobile data because my Wi-Fi's been a bit choppy, but I think I might have just happened to catch it when my prepaid ran out. I was like, oh, it might have just been the cutout time. So yeah. But anyway, I won't keep you for too much longer anyway. But yeah, what was the talk about? Talking about Hawthorn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the main concerns with them, as I say, as long as we whack the Irishman on Dry Newcombe and shut him down.
Sorry. When you began with whack the Irishman, I thought you were talking about getting some revenge on Connor Nash. Right? Okay. Thanks for clarifying that one.
I know we can whack that Irishman too. Yeah.
Let's not get anyone rubbed out. They might have a grand final to play the next week. So.
Yeah. No. We. Yeah. keep the powder dry this time.
Save that
I think
for Easter Monday next year. Just lock that one in the vault.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, I mean, I sort of, like with that particular game, I sort of thought, look, whoever gets off the chain first out of Jordan Dawson and Joy Newcomb's going to that's who's going to win that game. And obviously, Joy Newcomb was monstrous in that first quarter. So, and he was the difference. So we got to keep him. We got to keep him in line, or we could, we could potentially find ourselves under a fair. Well, I don't know about ugly, but certainly under a fair bit more pressure than we'd like to be early on in the piece. So, but I mean, apart from that, I think we've got the forward structure to, stretch their defence as long as our ball use is good and our entries are thoughtful and constructive. That's not going to play that's not playing to their strengths. And obviously with our defenses, as long as we get our matchups right and our rotations right, I think we should be pretty right. I think we should be pretty right there. So I don't know. I mean, I think the thing as far as our game goes that's most important is that I've sort of got a bit of a sense on last weekend that, I don't know, it's a bit like 2022. I actually, when I went, I hadn't really even watched any football until the week before that game that year. And I thought, look, I'm going. My son had been nagging me to take him to the footy, so I was like, okay, we'll go to the qualifying final. Yeah, we'll go to this game. So, and I, obviously, really tight game throughout, and I don't know. I just watching the way we played that night. Remember looking over, and go, I'm really worried. It's like, don't worry about it. Like, we've got these blokes. Like, we've had the answers all night. We look, we're not letting it. I know what it looks like when we mean business, and I don't care what Collingwood does. We're not letting this go. Doesn't matter how much we win by. We just have to win. And
the Pies got out the blocks a little bit on us that night too. Or sorry, that evening, whatever. Yeah.
They did, but I mean, this is what and you would have been around. You're old enough to have seen how many years, like even in the last 10 or 15 years, where guys have jumped us in that first 10 minutes, and we've panicked. And
and we've completely fallen over.
Right, and then the next thing you know, you've gone from being 3 or 4 goals. Instead of steadying, you go from being 3 or 4 goals down to 7 or 8 goals down, and then you're chasing ass for the rest of the day. So that was the thing. It was just with that Pies game. It was just like, no, we're good. We worked our way into the game. We got control of the game. They've challenged us, and every time they've thrown down the gauntlet, we have immediately answered. Also, these guys are just, they're in that zone where they've got supreme confidence in their own ability and the ability of their teammates to get the job done, and they're going to get the job done. So when I went to the prelim, the Brizzy prelim a couple of weeks later, it's like, Brisbane have got no chance tonight. Absolutely no chance.
They came out with the same intensity, but the quality of the opponent just wasn't the same.
Yeah, exactly. But, what I really illustrated here is more just I had a good feeling that I was going to see a similar sort of thing on Friday night, and that's exactly what happened. I mean, we was talking with Ben about the game last Friday night. The thing that stunned me is with 10 minutes to go, they're only 5 goals down. But when I looked around at them, it's like they turned it up. They said we're not going to win.
They weren't going to let it happen.
They'd already decided that they're already looking at next week, basically. So, I just feel like as long as what we saw in that first, what we saw last week, we bring that same thing next week. Of course, make whatever tweaks are necessary. But
absolutely, you've got to adapt to the opponent. But yeah, I think if we go out with that, I think that intensity, there was a glint in the eye, and what you kind of described in 2022, and again with the qualifying, like just rewatching the footage, there was just there's that sharpness, and it was visible in the faces of the players.
Right,
and if we just come back with that, yeah, sure, there might need to be tweaks to the game plan to suit Hawthorn as opposed to Brisbane. But I think they'll just go out, and I'm confident they can just go out with that same intensity, that same glint in the eye, and just execute.
Well, I think the only thing I can really say about tonight's game is that, like as I said last week, the thing that really surprised me about the game last week was like we're not known necessarily for being a physically intimidating side, but we hit them so hard they were intimidated. Like they were taking short steps. You know, they were very hesitant to go in and get
handballs and all sorts of things. There was no composure.
Yeah, and like that, going down to pick up a ground ball, they were hearing footsteps and stuff like that. I mean, when you see like Tom Atkins having 42 pressure acts, it's like I guarantee you that at least 35 of them was just him hitting the pack like a rocket,
and a million miles an hour. Yeah,
just bang, just. Fairly and squarely, not, and not obviously not in a reckless manner because he's playing on Saturday, but, he was just throwing himself physically in there like a battering ram at every opportunity, and they were intimidated. And
that's why leading up to it, I was really big on the idea of Danger going in the midfield to bring that exact energy. And I really hope that we do the same again this Friday night, that he just goes in there for that first bounce and we know exactly how he plays. It's all or nothing. So he'll just throw himself at the first few, try and set that tone just to make sure everyone else who is ready to go with him. We were also talking about, Jordan Dawson trying to get everyone going and come with me. Well, I think Danger, get in there, try and do the same thing, make sure everyone's in sync. And then he can go off the forward line if he wants after that. But set the tone early.
For sure.
And Tom Atkins will follow. There's no doubt that Tom Atkins will follow, but it's, making sure that Max Holmes and Bailey Smith and Brian Myers, when he goes through the midfield, and all the others that cycle through there, they're really ready to bring that same level of relentless energy.
And I think the good thing about putting Danger in there to do it is that when Danger's really switched on, and and he's the sort of guy that you could say, right, this is what we're doing. We're going to give you a 5 or 10 minute burst here to start the game, and we just want you to do what you do. Play like you're 25 again for 10 minutes. And what he's
Don't
always
been
hamstring,
please.
And what he, but
him
what
and Max
always,
Holmes for that on that.
Yeah, well, no. Let's not mention that. Let's just
smashing the desk there.
Touch of wood. But yeah, like Danger's really good. Is that if he's not coming out with the ball, he's getting that ball out to where our blokes are, like just through sheer, through sheer force. Right? Yeah, like he's just smashing it out of there to where our guys are. Doesn't have to be a possession or anything like that. So absolutely, that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, that was the thing. Like, we absolutely intimidated Brisbane last week, and you could tell tonight that they were embarrassed by their performance last week, and that they knew they'd beat, because they went out there tonight and they absolutely monstered Gold Coast.
They went and bullied the opponent, yeah.
They were absolutely ferocious, like just physically mauled them. So, the Suns will be better for the experience, I think, in the long term, because I mean, they've got some reasonably solid customers in there themselves, but yeah, they were out there to make a statement tonight, Brisbane, and they most certainly did. So I think that'll be, given the way the Pies played last week,
it'll be really interesting to watch that one.
Really high physical pressure, and just, it'll be really interesting to see who gets the ascendancy there, because 2 weeks ago everybody was like, the Pies are too old, they've got all these injuries, they're falling apart, and then they have a win
and then they found it again.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the Crows clearly weren't
clearly didn't premiers that they'd been for, yeah.
Well, I think the one thing that I suspected about it, they nearly got beat by the Eagles over in Perth. Remember, they hadn't been in real good form. I mean, the Pies, when they played them over the last time, had twice as many inside 50s and lost. Like, how the hell does that happen? Yeah. So they'd had a bit of luck. So I think Adelaide really didn't show up. Certainly didn't put their best foot forward in that first week. So, I don't necessarily think that's a good indication, the best indicator to say the Pies are back in form, because Crows played really badly.
Yeah, it's true.
But given Brisbane's, they're starting to look they are looking a bit banged up. They're missing their best player. Important key forwards out. They've clearly got a couple of blokes that are, like McCluggage clearly isn't, 100%. Berry's not quite right. So, what's good with that situation is that they're going to be throwing themselves ferociously at each other in that game, and they've got a bit of recent history too. So, I'm just hoping that we can go through our game with a win, get out of it clean, get out of it with a clean bill of health, and then those two just absolutely beat the livered suitcase out of each other, and I don't care who wins.
Yeah, look, I don't mind the idea of a nice, climactic grand final, but also if we're the winning team, I'm more than happy to just maul the opponent and have a cruisy, bludgy one, a 2007 or 2022. Like, I don't care at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
It's nice to have an 09 from time to time, but I don't know if I want to put myself through that at the same time either.
Well, I
just make it a party. Just win by 50 points and let's have a party.
Yeah. I mean, but I think what you were saying the other night, though, that there always seems to be one close one in there. Yeah. Look, I'll put it this way. If there's going to be a close one, I sincerely hope that it is not Friday night and that we absolutely...
Of course it's going to be Friday night. Of course it's going to be Friday night. There'll be strokes everywhere.
This is the thing. The family were going to come to the Brisbane game last week, and I said, "Look, it's school holiday. Like, they were still at school. It's like we're up here. It's like we're going to have to give them the day off or whatever to, if we're going to bring them down to the game, and they usually want to go and do a few things first." And I said, "Look, we'll wait until the school holidays start next week. We'll basically play. That'll be the weekend that we play next." So,
school holidays begin Friday for anyone who's not aware of that. So,
but like my kids go to a Catholic school, so they usually finish early.
Oh yeah.
So they usually wrap it up early, and most of the kids don't even go on the last day anyway. So, I'll probably if I think they're supposed to be there till 12, I probably just won't bother. I'll take the kids. I'm having second thoughts because I'm like, do I really want to take my kids to a Geelong Hawthorn final and things go wrong? If things go wrong, well, actually, not even if things go wrong. If whatever happens,
it's just going to be it's not good. We're not going to be acquitting ourselves in the best way, right?
I'll put it this way. I won't be keeping my mouth shut, I can tell you. And I'm like, usually when I've taken my kids to the footy before, even if it's been a close game, I keep it together and all that. So there is absolutely no chance whatsoever on Friday night that any composure is going to be kept, no matter what happens. So
I'm always with those ones, I'm always quite loud. I'm also one that I throw the hands through the hair all the time. And every single time I'm pulling out clumps afterwards, oh shit, I've really done myself a number with just the levels of stress that this game's put me through. So doesn't happen with anyone else. It's always Hawthorn though. add the context of a prelim in there, and this is disaster ready to happen.
Well, the thing is,
even if we win, by the way.
Yeah, well, yeah, well, that's true. I mean, at least I won't be on the beers if I've got the kids there. So, I'll be a little bit more
discipline.
Restrained than I otherwise would, than I might otherwise be. But look, the one thing, and I'll probably have a better indicator of it as the week goes on. I think, like the weird thing is, like I used to work graveyard shit when we were winning all those flags, nearly 20 years ago now. Like I was working graveyard shifts at a hotel. I got about 2/3 of the way through 2008, and just all of a sudden it hit me. It's like, we're going for one of the best seasons ever had, and look at who's second on the fucking ladder. It's like, what is they couldn't, could they? They couldn't. Yeah. And then they did. Like, I had the premonition that what happened was going to happen like weeks earlier. It's like, those pricks have just showed up to completely bloody crush my dreams again. But
yeah.
Fast forward a couple of years to 2011, and all these Hawthorn fans that I knew, like on Big Footy and all that, are yapping away. And I just turned around and said, you know what? We are going to absolutely smash you guys this weekend. We're going to kill you.
Cameron, that was it.
Yeah. And we put the cue back in the rack. I'm like, you guys are nothing. We will belt you. So I know. Usually when it comes to Hawthorn finals, when I think, my radar
little radar starts
sort of
firing.
Yeah, if there's real danger there, I tend to get like what it sounds like most people are right at the moment. It's like, oh God, not these guys. But no,
I'm going to take some confidence out of the fact that your radar's not firing at the moment, because I've got that sick pit in the stomach. But I think that's been lingering just at the prospect of even playing them before they'd even won last night. So I think that's just a me anxiety thing in this case, rather than some sort of spiritual, some sort of thing that's trying to send me messages.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, I noticed that you you put up you put the preview up for the rivalry video or the rivalry thing. It's like,
yeah, Ben's got scheduled that for Monday. Yeah,
I could give you the list of all of the times that they have dicked us over. And I mean, look, we have beaten them in a grand final and sort of embarrassed them on a few occasions, but nothing.
It definitely got the wood on us.
And growing up, well, I mean, it wasn't even just when we were in the finals. It was getting into the final.
Yeah,
but they kept us out of the finals. I think three out of 4 years in a row.
Yeah, right around the turn of the century, there was a few in that window there.
In 84, 85, and then of course 87.
Yeah.
We had if we'd beaten them in the last round, we would have made the finals. Now, in 84 and 85, I think it was, we weren't that crash hot, but in 87, I don't know, we were 6 goals up in the third quarter. We were in fact, we were 2 goals up with a minute to play. And they bloody kicked 2 goals in the last minute and won. Knocked us out, and that was when Melbourne won out at Footscray, and Robbie Flower got to play finals, which only marginally made it a bit easier to stomach the fact that those pricks. And then the worst thing was, pretty much when we played them in the night grand final the next year, pretty much exactly the same bloody thing happened. Like, we'd let them all night, and then
this is our chance.
Chris Mew, of all people, got it. I think it might have been the Prez, gave away a cheap 50 to Chris Mew at centre half back, and he goes down and kicks one, like from 55 out. They hit the front with 30 seconds to go, and it's like, it's happened 2 games. It's 2 games. We played these guys twice, and exactly the same things bloody happened. Like, I can't take any more of this.
It's time to get one back on them. They've been getting us when it's counted on far too many occasions. As you said, we've got a few ourselves, but in those big knockout moments, they've had us covered. It's time to get one back this Friday night. So
I think the thing that probably worries most people, aside from their yappy freaking smart ass supporters, and that
fair weather supporters too. That I'll toss in there, but
like now they've got a yappy, chirpy, little yappy dog bloody team as well that likes to mouth off, and it's like, oh, if I see those three little shits up forward dancing around, bloody la la la, it's like I may jump the fence. Don't
worry, you're not on the beers though, so you'll catch yourself before you get over there.
No, I think that's what most people are worried about. It's more about are we really worried about the loss or having to put up with those bastards if they win? So. But I don't know. I think it's to close off. I think it's the same sort of thing that I said before the Brisbane game. It's just like, I'm hearing all these things about what and more here from our supporters. It's like I'm hearing all these reasons why we can't win, and I'm like, what are you talking about? What are they going to do about our? It's not up to us to work out what we're going to do about their blokes. It's up to them to work out what they're going to do about our blokes because we're better than them. So, they better, they're the ones that are going to have to, raise their game and come up with some master tactical bloody move to, like they're going to have to play their best to beat us, to put it this way. I don't see us. I mean, I'll put it to you this way. If you think back to a lot of the finals that we've played against them and lost, and think about our form in the game or two prior, the signs were there that, hey, we're not traveling that well. When we've gone into a match against them and we're traveling well, we've beaten them.
We've gotten the job done.
So I mean, the only time I can think where we've kind of hit them in a final and not beaten them when we've been red hot was probably 89 after we absolutely destroyed Essendon, and then
of course 2008 was a grand final as well. It's another one where we weren't in good shape.
The problem is that we didn't. We nearly didn't beat Footscray. We got very lucky in that last quarter against Footscray in that game, and that was the thing. I remember saying
Acker was a real problem near the end, wasn't he?
I remember saying to the guys on, I don't know who anyone out there remembers Cat's Claw, which was what, I don't know if they're still going, but there was one of the early Geelong forums. I just remember talking on there, and, everybody was super confident and all that kind of thing. And I said, look, if we play on Saturday like we played in this prelim, we're going to get beat. I said, we were off, and the only reason we didn't lose on Friday night or Saturday night was because Footscray didn't work out until 20 minutes into the third quarter. Hey, they're playing like crap. We could beat these blokes. And by the time they woke up, it was too late.
It's already done. Yeah.
They couldn't quite get themselves back into it, and then we ended up sort of, kicking a couple of cheapies at the end of, pad out the scoreboard. I'm like, if you watch that game we played in 2008 late in the season, it's like, I know they've got a plan, and they're not revealing it all now, but you can sort of see you could sort of see a little bit of what the intent was going to be. But I'm like, and the thing is, we started to get a couple of like Chappie got injured, and a couple other blokes got niggles in that St Kilda game, and then just things weren't quite travelling as smoothly come the finals as they had been for the rest of the season. So it was it really wasn't a surprise. Like the record may have said, hey, we're the dominant side here, but we were not in great form, despite what it looked like. And like I say, I knew, you could tell that they had a plan. And I mean, even then, to be fair, they required a lot of bloody luck to win that day.
A lot of inaccuracy, and then a rule that got changed immediately afterwards.
But yeah, so my point is that when they've got us in finals, we haven't necessarily gone in the sort of nick we're in now.
Yeah.
So, and when we have been in good nick and we're really playing, we've got our brand of footy together and we're, just sort of, we're really clicking, we're sharp. No, they don't. Like I said, unless they're clearly a better side than we are, which they are not at this point. They haven't. They haven't beaten us when we've been, in the better side in good form.
Yeah. Well, on that, you obviously your tip is for the Cats. Toss a margin my way. What do you think we're going to win by?
I reckon win by 4 or 5 goals.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that'd be good for the heart to not have to worry at that sort of level. I'll be all right with that. Yeah.
I got the feeling it's going to be more. I guess sort of along the lines of what you're talking about, where it's like we kind of get out to a nice lead and then it sort of might come back a little bit.
In.
But I think if we, I know. I mean, look, the other thing is they finished 8th, for goodness sake. We finished 2nd, they finished 8th. So, I'm not. I can't see us falling away sufficiently to.
I don't know. The thing that keeps buzzing in my mind is like if you just flip one result in round 23, then they're suddenly 3rd and playing us in the first week. They just because they lost to Brisbane, in Brisbane. So they're better than 8th. Obviously, I don't think we'd argue that. But yeah, I do think we're the better team, and hopefully we get the points. So you've got the Cats winning by 4 to 5 goals.
Yep. And as far as the other game goes, it's going to be a big game.
I'm expecting Cats and Lions. I reckon the Lions are going to get through, and I reckon we've got a rematch.
Yeah, even though I don't think they played that well overall tonight. They did go out there with a real intent, and just look when they do have those passages when they're going. They are probably still the best side in. Like some of their field kicking tonight was just outstanding. So, the key thing is not to, as we showed last week, the key is being able to minimise how often they can get that ball movement going. Yeah. I don't know. So I'm sort of with you. I think it'll be pretty close. I think it'll be pretty close. But I got a feeling that we get up and we might be seeing the Lions again
for the 4th time in the season.
Yeah, and the 5th time in 12 months, basically.
Yeah, enough of that. I'm done with them. But anyway, Horatio, thank you very much for coming on the show tonight. It's been awesome as always. Looking forward to doing it again nice and soon. And again, thank you for sharing a new channel for me to go check out there. I'll be looking at some of these state league games.
Yeah. The one, even though, like I said, the audio is really crap on that one tonight. Even if you just watch the last quarter, really good game.
Good. No, I'm keen. I might give it a bit of a look later. Well, thank you very much, mate. And like I said, we'll chat soon.
No worries. Have a good night.
Cats.
See ya.
All right. That is where we'll wrap things up for the night. Thank you to everyone who's contributed both in the chat and live and had a bit of a chat. So Ben, Horatio, Kiri, it's been a pleasure to have you all on board tonight. To the likes to Jezelenko and everyone else who's been contributing. Thomas is still floating around. Ben's been popping in from time to time. Jackie was dominant for a long while there as well. Thank you to all of you who've tuned in over the course of the night and shared your thoughts. It's been great as always. Looking forward to doing it again sometime soon. Ben, will have the reins on post-game live this Friday night. I will be going to the game. I'm sure I'll probably pop in on the phone like I did last time, but I won't be hosting it. Ben will also be taking duties for the Paul James Show on Thursday night because I have parent-teacher interviews. And so I will not be able to host the show. I'll be stuck at work. But you will see me for the Paul James Show on Monday, the review wrap-up episode, which will be fairly heavily Q&A, of course, because we haven't played anyone this weekend. And a lot of my thoughts have been shared via the show tonight. Also, make sure to stay tuned for a whole bunch of other videos that'll go up. There'll be enough of the week. There'll be, I'm sure, a bunch of other conversational videos that will go out as well. Thank you to everyone who's been tuning into those over the course of the week. My Rowan Marshall one has been enormous, but people have been checking out the predictions videos, the Stephen King video that went up this morning, my Jai Clark video, and as well, even enough from last week as well. There's been heaps and heaps of stuff going up, and the numbers on those have been huge. So thank you to everyone who's been checking those videos out. And look forward to doing it all again next week. So if you've enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the Hoops Crew on YouTube. Share this video with all your friends and family. Get the word out there about all of the content we're creating. And shove these videos down the throats of some Hawthorn supporters over the week as well, just to make their anxiety levels go up. They've probably got a free swing in this particular matchup, so we need to scare the shit out of them. If you enjoyed it, also consider checking out our Patreon, patreon.com/thehoopscrew, where there's early access, extended, and exclusive content there for you to enjoy. It costs $5 a month to get access to that, and there's a 7-day free trial to see if it's for you. You'll find me on socials at Paul James Games. That's Twitter, Blue Sky, and Instagram. The Hoops Crew you'll find at The Hoops Crew. Thank you to our sponsors, Shannon Pizza, and then, of course, Cyril Cook Florist. And until next time, remain Geelong strong, everyone. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. See you later.
It's time for the show. Dropping pussy town facts, mitts, forwards and backs. Representing G-Town while talking the smack. Clashing facts like Patty, where the hell you at? Hoops Crew are exploding, don't ever look back. Then we got Paul, yeah, he knows his stuff. He's a man, he's a myth, taking on the nuts. The man don't miss, he loves to react. His words cut deep, he's a counterattack. Paul's on fire, brings a mic to life. Don't fuck with P-Dog if you value your life. Oh, they fuck shit up, yeah, they run G-Town. The Hoops Crew's here and they'll never back down. Jake, Johnny, Sambo, always rocking the game. Betty and Paul, man, remember the names. In the studio, Jake's bringing the noise. With Johnny and Sambo, the chaps chat boys, they're electric and they're ready to roll. The boys are on fire and they're taking control. Recaps and previews, yeah, they cover it all. Part of the Hoops Crew with Betty and Paul. They fuck shit up, yeah, they run G-Town. The Hoops Crew, baby, they'll never back down. Jake, Johnny, Sambo, always rocking the game. Betty and Paul, chasing glory and fame. Brad with the sleeves, Max Holmes and Jack Bowes. Tommy fucking Atkins, he'll break your damn nose. Stewie in the middle, and Reese in the ruck. They see Big Jezza and they know they're fucked. They're the G-Town boys, go hard or go home. They're fucking insane, taking over the throne. Oh, they fuck shit up, yeah, they run G-Town. The Hoops